Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're rocking the 12/12 Trampler for 1 mana, blue-white Stiflenought. This card is really good, but you have to stop the trigger, which we can do with 4 Stifles, with 3 Dress Downs, or with 2 Curies. We also have another 4 Consigned to Memory in the sideboard. We have, as a backup threat, 2 Murktides, 2 Brazen Borrowers, which can get us out of a jam and can also come down as additional pressure. And we have 3 Tamios, which are mostly there to just absorb removal and distract our opponents while we get our Phyrexian Dreadnought game plan or our Murktide game plan in order. We are a heavy tempo deck with 4 Dazes, 4 Wasteland, 4 Stifle, and a Spell Pierce. And we hope to close the game before they can really get their game plan together. Let's take a look at the sideboard. We've got a Force Negation for combo. We've got Harbinger for Eldrazi and 4 color control piles. We have 4 consigns for Eldrazi and artifact piles. We have 3 Hydroblasts for red decks. We've got 2 Prismatic Ending, which is usually just coming in the mirror and against other Delver style decks that have lots of 1-drops. You don't really want to be paying 2 mana to remove a permanent, but paying 1 mana is just fine. This is also very good against Chalice of the Void. And we have 3 Grafdigger's Cage for respect for graveyard strategies. And we have a single cheeky Hull Breacher which can just be flashed in and completely wreck our opponents if they're not expecting it. This should be a fun league. We're going to be very interactive. We're going to hopefully blow out a lot of opponents with Stifle. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're against an unknown opponent whose name I believe is Fanatics. This hand will do quite well on the play. I think we keep it, and we hope to Stifle Wasteland them out of the game. We've got a Daze to reinforce this plan. I'm going to keep it. And then we've got that Murktide plan lined up. There's no reason we need to expose that we're playing blue-white because most blue-white decks right now are Stiflenought. Stiflenought is really strong, and a lot of people are playing it. I played against it 3 times in a single league earlier this week. Misty is also quite ambiguous as to what we could be playing. There's an island. Fetching for a Tamio. Do we care? We can just flip her. I think I'm going to go get the Surveil Land here, and I'm going to let Tamio resolve. We do have 4 Plows in our deck. It's the only white card in our 75 other than the 2 Prismatic Endings. Brainstorm seems fine. We might be able to just find a Plow to cleanly answer this. If not, we can just borrow it. I think I am going to go ahead and just do this now, just in case I find a Tamio of my own. Okay, we do have the combo, but if they show white, then I'm not going to be keen on jamming. Because Murktide will be practically as effective as Dreadnought, because we're going to have, let's see, 1, probably 2, maybe 3 or 4 permanents in our yard. The fact that they showed this means that I might not want to play Wasteland if they're going to play on basics. I think what I do here is, we do have protected Phyrexian Dreadnought. We'll see what they're playing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to speculate that this Dreadnought is not great. And we'll put it on top. And I'll put a Ponder on top. And we're really only cracking, because we do want to redraw the Ponder. All the cards are good. But if I get an opportunity to stifle a fetch, I will do it. So it looks like we're going to just draw this Ponder, which is fine. Okay, they're creating the clue. So they saw this and they probably thought Dreadnought. So yeah, they may not fetch into this. Okay, they are. I think it's fine to just grab this. And they made Daze here. Okay, they didn't. So we stopped that land. Now they're pondering. At this point, this seems crazy, but I kind of want to Daze this just to slow down their development. Yeah, we're filling up our graveyard. We don't think that they have blue, so we think we can jam the Murktide, which would be phenomenal. They may just force Murktide, but that's a 2-for-1. We draw a force of our own. Okay, let's go. 1, 2. So this is a 6/6. Basically a 3-turn clock. We've made excellent use of our graveyard. We don't have anything else that uses our graveyard other than Tamio herself. If they're a non-mono blue deck, Okay, Lorien revealed. This will probably get like some sort of dual land. Undercity Sewer. Okay, we're going to be wasting that. I'm feeling really good about this. I feel good about my decision to go ahead and use the Stifle and to shuffle away the Phyrexian Dreadnought here. Daze is a sick rip. I'm going to go ahead and waste now. I don't want them doing any shenanigans. All right, now we can attack. I'm just going to... They're probably just going to let it through and use their life total as a resource, which is fine. I don't mind them stacking up clues because they're not going to be able to use it. They've got to actually cast stuff. Okay, so this could be some sort of bug deck. Maybe Bug Beans. Because they're playing Lorien Revealed. Like my money is on Bug Beans. I'm just going to chill. Okay, here comes something. Oh, just a clue activation. That's fine. They didn't attack there, which tells me they don't have a cohesive strategy yet. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do. I kind of want to find a wasteland. I'm trying to think if it makes sense to brainstorm first. I think I am. Okay, we found the wasteland. That's phenomenal. We don't really need this land. Tamiyo is not necessary. She pitches to force. Yeah, I don't want that land at all, but I don't have a way to shuffle. I'll just go like that. And yeah, let's go ahead and take this out now. Okay, and I'm just going to swing. And that may not feel like a cohesive plan, but I don't want to ponder here because I do want to be able... Oh, wow. They're going to take the chump. That signals to me that they don't have a lot of confidence in their ability to dig out of this. I'm just going to daze this again. There's no reason to let them find a land drop. Okay, great. That was oppressive, which is precisely how we want to be. Okay, so I do suspect they're on... I mean, Hull Breacher seems like a pretty good card to bring in. If they're on Beanstalk, oh, maybe we do want to go a little lower on days on the draw, like go down to like 2 of them. Yeah, I think Bug Beans is the only thing that makes sense here. Prismatic Ending is great because it answers Beanstalk. It also answers Flip Tamiyo. Spell Pierce is quite good against their deck because it is a mana intensive deck with lots of non-creature spells. The only creatures they play generally are Bowmasters and Tamiyo, and maybe like 3 Murktides if they're on the current Pokemon list. Phyrexian Dreadnought is still good. They do have a lot of removal actually in their deck. They've got like 8 removal spells. Maybe we want to go down 1 Dreadnought because we brought in a Hull Breacher, so we brought in a threat. I think this is fine. Harbinger's not terrible because it can color screw them. Maybe we do want a Harbinger as well. Then if we're doing that, maybe we just take out the other days and we just have a single surprise days. This feels very good against Beanstalk. Like Beanstalk, the way this matchup works is you just have to stop Beanstalk. If you stop Beanstalk, the deck doesn't really do a lot. Like it's the critical card. We can pitch an early Murktide to it because Murktide's like a late game, mid game card. And then we still got a lot of interaction up. Okay, they're fetching around Stifle. There's their Undercity Sewer. They kept. All right, Stifle is the draw. That feels pretty good. I think we just island and then we hold up Stifle. This way we can, potentially ponder next turn. Okay, here comes the beans. I am going to pitch Murktide. I'll trust that I can find another win con later. Okay, we got through that. That was a 2-for-1 for them, so that's favorable, but we stopped the critical card. Just like Aether Vial, just like Mox Diamond, like there's this card, this article written a long time ago by Thraben Yu, who I used to really look up to as a D&T pilot back before I got sick of losing the combo and I switched to blue decks. But he wrote this card called Critical Card Theory, this article, and he talks about like Aether Vial and Mox Diamond and I think Entomb. There were a few other cards that he mentioned that were like critical cards that you must stop no matter what. So I think what we can do here is if I can find a wasteland, I want to use it. If they daze this, it's going to suck. I'm going to go for it. Let's see what they do. Because I really do want to find a wasteland. And okay, there we found the wasteland. That feels great. Unfortunately, we can't both stifle them and waste them? Huh. Yeah, that was probably an unnecessary risk because I do want to just leave the land out. But maybe now they'll think I'm stuck on lands when I'm not. If we waste now, we could waste them off a color. The thing is, I'm pretty sure that they are going to be. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Stifle now, and then we have Stifle and Force Up. And we'll just accept that we're not going to be able to waste them if we have to use the Stifle. But I probably will use the Stifle. I'll use it on Lorien Revealed. I'll use it on Fetch. I'll use it on anything, basically. One of the problems with stifling there is suddenly we're off days in case they do have a follow-up one, and they do. I'm just going to force here, sadly. But the good news is we still have that waste on top. The bad news is they have a basic swamp, so we can't really go after critical color. They don't use green that much. It is worth wasting them to slow them down, though, I think. So we are going to go after this land, and I'm going to do it. Okay, and now we'll pass. They Lorien Revealed. I'll just be able to stifle that. Then we can get our Surveil land. Let's stifle this. We are on the mana denial plan. They do play a lot of land. They play usually 19 lands plus 2 Lorien Revealeds. So I'm not... Yeah, and they had a land drop, but they don't have a green land. They do sometimes play Stifle themselves. We'll see whether they use that. They don't. They're not a tempo deck, really, but they do have some tempo cards. This is a keep. I'm just going to try to keep grinding their resources down. Maybe this is folly, but they actually only have so many lands in their deck. I'm going to wait till their upkeep and use it. That way, if they do have Stifle, they have to do something with it. They have like an Instep Bowmasters or something, then I can respond. Okay. I am going to go ahead and waste here to make days more painful. Because they don't want to be... They want to be making land drops and not doing stuff like that. Okay, so they have the mana to do something here. They're hardcasting a Brazen Borrower. That's fine. I'm not going to fight over that. So we get their land. So usually Beanstalk doesn't play Brazen Borrower, but I actually think it's really good. And I'm one of the few people that plays Brazen Borrower in the list. So I'm excited to see my opponent is playing this card. I do think it's good. I think we can wait a turn. Like we can use our life totals as a resource. They don't do a lot of damage. I'm going to see if I can find another wasteland. That would be tremendous. This is a shuffle. We could have taken that Stifle, I guess. Tamio is quite good. I'm just going to play a land. I'm going to play a Tamio. There's a good chance she dies. But our opponent has to like at least think about it because we have the land up. Also, this may deter them from attacking because they may want to block to prevent us from creating clues if they don't have removal. They're not attacking. This is great. So we can just plow this and then we can attack. Dreadnought, not a great draw right now. I am going to go ahead and plow first. I just want to make sure that we can get through with Tamio before I attack because it would be embarrassing if they did force this and we lost our Tamio. Shielder's Edict. Okay, we can't do anything about it. So we just 1-for-1 each other. I have more lands, but they do have 3 cards in hand to my 1, and my 1 card is not good unless I find exactly a Dress Down. I guess if I find a Stifle, I can use it, but it's dangerous because they have so much removal, but they did just use one of their removal spells. Okay, they're not drawing land. That's great. All right, this is not great. I want to hold this for a Brainstorm. And also, just it's more intimidating to our opponent. We don't need a lot of land. Our deck is not mana hungry at all. Okay, they did find another land, but they still don't have a green source. They may only have like 1 or 2 more green sources in their entire deck. I'm going to attempt to do this into a possible Bowmaster. They let us do it. We have the combo. I think it's safer to chill. I don't really want to get blown out here. Yeah, like there's a very good chance if we stick this, we just lose. I think keeping them low resource and keeping them off green is fine. For all we know, they could have a Beanstalk in hand that they can't cast. All right, so upkeep, we're going to go ahead and fetch. I'll just get another Tundra just in case they waste our white source. We don't have a basic plains, which I just don't believe in playing a basic plains when we have 4 cards in our entire deck that care about it. So we could go ahead and play out this. I think we do play out the Misty because we're going to need it when we brainstorm later anyway. And now we have a little extra protection against double days just in case that is what they have. We're going to play out this Curie. they're likely just going to kill this. But if they force it or something like that, that's a favorable exchange. But if they fatal push it, then we get nothing. This is great. She did a good job. So the card our opponent pitched there, by the way, is Daze. So we were correct to play around Daze. This is fine. If they find something they can use to shuffle, I am 100% going to stifle it because I don't want them to be able to get card selection. I want them to have to draw all those cards. I mean, they could all be bangers, but most likely they're not because they're not doing anything. If our opponent doesn't have anything to do, they could just put the fetch on the table and then wait. Okay, I think they're maybe brainstorm locked. They probably have one more shielded, one more Lorien revealed. Okay, threat please. That's not great. We'll just hold it. And again, I'm not going to present this because I'm not confident it'll work. I want to get a 2-for-1 when I play it. Okay, so they didn't have a way to shuffle, so they're just drawing through a bad brainstorm. This is fine. Nothing we can do about this. So they did only have to draw one bad card from their brainstorm, and then they could ponder. Definitely keen to draw my... okay, what's this? Strix? Yeah, I mean, that's a good card. We don't have a clean way of removing it. It's a 2-for-1 for sure. Dress down. Okay. I think we just dress down now. Go for it while they're tapped out. Draw trigger. Second Dreadnought would be great. I'm just going to play one. They pitched a Daze. I don't think they likely have a second Daze. I think I am going to play this land out. My reasoning is that this represents us being able to stifle around Daze. It also gives us the option of, potentially like reaching. I don't think it's worth like this. This was basically just, yeah. I mean, they can't attack anymore. If we plow this, then we can start attacking. But we're just kind of chilling. I don't want to lose my Dreadnought because this could go to Curie. This is fine. Again, if we can stifle the card that they were going to use to shuffle it, we significantly mitigate the impact of their brainstorm. They have tapped off. Yeah, I mean, we could get double Daze. Actually, I don't. Oh, we could get Spell Pierce. That would be good. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for this. Grab another one of these. Now we're going to brainstorm. We don't have to worry about Bowmasters here with the mana they're presenting. Spell Pierce. Come on, Spell Pierce. They're forcing this. Okay, they're serious. Pitch to Daze. So it was correct for me to play it out. Otherwise, they could have just Dazed. So we got a card for our disciplined play of the Scalding Tarn. Yeah, that's fine. This is dead. They're coming in for a hug. We're dropping a 14. Life total is not a big deal for us. Yep, Tomio's a great rip at this point in the game when we don't have a lot going on. Okay, Wasteland. I am going to waste. I'll just waste this. Again, like I think they've used all their Dazes, but they may have a Daze left. Let's see. How many Dazes do they have in exile? They have 1, 2. I think they probably have a single Daze left. It's rare for decks to play 3. But this is a card draw engine here. Like all they need to do is attack, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had a Beanstalk in hand. Let's draw something impactful here, please. All right, that's pretty damn good. I'm going to brainstorm. I know that they could have Bowmasters. They're definitely holding up Bowmasters mana. This is fine. We're just going to accept this as a price of doing business. If we find a Murktide, they're not going to be able to attack it anyway. If we don't find anything, we'll probably concede. I think this is a concession. Let's just save ourselves some time here. Yeah, because we were going to take a lot, and they were very far ahead. Okay, so on the play, Daze has come back in for sure. Daze is really good against them, especially if we can keep them low resource. I still think we didn't see Carpet, but Carpet's probably in there. Hull Breacher is a little aspirational. It's pretty expensive, and if our plan is working, they shouldn't be able to really do anything with it. I think Harbinger is also kind of aspirational. Well, let's see. Harbinger would have. No, they had Basic Swamp. It would have been a minimal impact, I think. I think we take out slow cards like that. I do think 3 Murktide or 3 Dreadnought is the right number. Murktide is better than Dreadnought in this matchup because you only have to invest 1 card. Yeah, this is one of those matchups where you do kind of need all your forces. Yeah, I'm genuinely not sure what to cut. My instinct is to just cut a Dress Down since we're cutting one of our Dreadnoughts. Dress Down doesn't really do a lot to their deck. I mean, technically it can stop like the draw trigger on a, what's it called? It can remove the Death Touch, but like if you're removing the Death Touch on the Strix, yeah, I think we're fine going out of 2. So we still have 8 enablers for Dreadnought, which is plenty. This hand has Stifle, has double interaction spell, has Tamiyo. There is a risk that they just waste us. They do play Wasteland generally. They're playing Daze. I think we pitched this. The double plow is not that great. In fact, maybe I could have gone down to 3 plow. This is much better. I'm so glad I put that back. I'm going to put back the plow. I think it's less likely to be impactful early game. Even if they get a Tamiyo and like Flipper and stuff, we can pressure Tamiyo. We can do other stuff. I'm just going to do that. Done. We are going to play out the Tundra. We have Stifle. We have a backup land. I want to hold this in case we want to brainstorm something away later. I mean, all these cards are pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to use this and then I can surveil if they don't do anything. Like if they play like a non-fetch land, then I don't want to... Okay, there's a fetch land. So yeah, I'm just going to wait for them to crack. Force is a good draw. I'm going to do this and then I'll surveil end step and try to find land number 3 or a wasteland. It's unclear how long they're willing to just chill. The game does get better the longer it goes for them. But because they're a Daze deck, I'm loath to just crack. All right, let's surveil. We're looking for land number 3. Spell Pierce is not bad against their deck. I think it's above average. I'm going to keep it. So we're just rocking the extremely reactive hand. So they could have Bowmaster, and I think there's a high likelihood that they go for Bowmaster here, but I do want to find a land drop. Okay, they didn't. Okay, great. This is perfect. We'll just set the land on top and the Curie on top. Order. Yeah, I do want Curie next turn. And I'll just play the land now. We'll pass. And we have so much interaction, it's not even funny. There's a wasteland. They're just passing. It's fine. Now I wish I'd put the Tundra on top instead of the Curie. I probably don't want to play Curie out yet. Oh, I think we chill and wait another turn. It was a mistake, but like when you make a mistake like that, you don't follow it up with what I like to call cascading error. At some point, they are going to have to crack this. I think I could just float. I don't really care about this land. I'm about to draw another one. The main thing is I just wanted the land for their wasteland. They should pass to another phase and then activate their Delta if they're going to. They have another wasteland. Now I have to seriously consider, okay, do I want to get this? Ah, man, they've made it hard for me. I don't want to go any lower on lands. I am going to stifle this. I think they are going to do something here. Bayou, interesting. Very good. Very wastable. But it does give them access to all 3 of their colors now. Force. We're about to... Oh. So I can brainstorm and then I can just... No, I can't really do that. If I just daze this is focused on that land. Yeah, I'll just daze it. And if they get confused and pay, that'll be fun. But I don't think they will because they'll realize that the actual target is out of the way. Okay. All right. So now we need to chill for a turn. I suspect they probably have Bowmaster in hand. But I can't cleanly answer Bowmaster yet. If I had just fetched islands and stuff, I wouldn't have had to worry about this. But like I've got literally all 4 of my white sources accounted for here. Yeah, I'm just going to chill for a turn. They're playing very patiently. I want to give them kudos and respect. Okay, now they've got quite a bit of land amassed over there. I am going to go for Curie here, I think. I don't want to wait forever. Actually, I'll go for Tamiyo instead. Because I've got the Brainstorm to protect her. So Brainstorm protects. I force pitch Curie, I pierce, and I win an exchange. This is a pretty easy decision to just Brainstorm to get this out of the way, and then we can just let this resolve. Okay, so I don't think it's worth getting rid of Bowmasters now. I can get rid of it later. Do I want to force a Bowmaster? I think we really need to be careful about using our forces correctly. I'm going to hold it like that. Curie's on top. That's fine. They can ping me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now I have to force it. That was dumb. I didn't think about the fact that we were in instep and I was about to... yeah, that was very naive of me. I think now what we do is we force pitch force. Sadly. Yeah, because they could kill Tamiyo. So that would be very bad. If they have, if they don't have more mana and they attempt to Witherbloom, then I can pierce. But if they have daze, then I can't stop that. Okay, they're not going for pierce. I'm just going to attempt to pierce, or they're not going for Witherbloom. I'm going to attempt to pierce here. They may very well have daze. They could have boarded out their dazes. Yeah, that was so dumb for me to burn my Brainstorm like that. I should have just forced and held my Brainstorm. Okay. So we do have a Tamiyo on the table. She is susceptible to a lot of stuff. I'm going to put Curie on the table as well and hope they don't have interaction for her. We are pretty vulnerable here. They've got all their mana out. They've got 4 cards in hand because we had to force. This is Beanstalk. No, this is Murktide. Petty Theft. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. I can just replay her. I am going to be able to draw a card this turn unless they push this. Okay. They're being disciplined and not pushing if they do have the ability to push. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. Give me that sweet card draw. All right. Daze, number 2. Not the worst. I think I play this out. I think I do want to play this land out. Because the thing is, you can hold lands for Brainstorm, but you actually do need a way to shuffle. Okay, we're going to get some daze equity. They're cutting, it looks like. Bring this right back. Not ready to let Tamiyo leave my side yet. All right, that was a great exchange for us. They gave up a lot of their graveyard, which is a resource they need. All right. They may be able to find lands. They have wasted us, which we still have 4 wastelands in our deck, I believe. So I'm definitely looking to find some wastelands off of these 2. I'll flip her next turn. If they attempt to play this out, I can just daze it. They may find a land here. Carpet. Can't do anything about that, unfortunately. Gives them a lot of mana. It invalidates my daze. They may just try to cast out the Brazen Borrower now, depending on what's in their hand. Bowmaster, I can't stop. Yep, that's unfortunate. Let's see if we can find one of those plows. Ponder is rough. We could attack in the air. Okay, let's think about this. If we attack, they do get a trigger. And then I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to attack with both. If they let me through to get the card, I think it's okay. I have the Ponder as a backup way to flip if they choose to block. I think they're going to let it through and just let me amass the army. Okay. We draw a trigger. They get to ping us. Got a borrower. Okay, so here's what I think I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to hope that they don't have Lorien revealed in their hand or some incredible card. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ponder, and then I can Brazen Borrower this away, and it'll be pretty big. She'll be flipped. They won't be able to attack. I'm going to do it. Phyrexian Dreadnought does combo here. I'm going to take the Dreadnought. I'll shuffle the rest away. Okay, they ping again. They're pinging me. That's fine. She flips. I'm going to plus her. I'm going to immediately go ahead and attempt to borrow this away. Okay, and then we can pass. Just playing very carefully here. They've got so much mana, it's not even funny. Like this Daze is utterly dead. Like they'll have to get really greedy for this Daze to do anything this game. Giant Murktide would be scary. Unfortunately, we can't even draw 12 with the Orcish Bowmaster out. Sadly. We'll probably just put this out and then just not draw cards and use this defensively to defend Tamiyo. We don't have any plows in our graveyard. We just haven't found a plow yet. Best draw is plow. Second best draw would be probably a Murktide. They have so many good cards they could draw on their end. This is a big spell. This could be like a Strix. Yeah, there's a Strix. That's fine. I do miss playing the Esper version of this deck because I had 4 Bowmasters in the sideboard, but without Frog in the meta, it's not worth playing black for Dreadnought, in my opinion. Okay, I'm so happy they're cycling that. My goodness, they could have just drawn 3 cards. Got lots of mana, but I don't even care about mana anymore. Like, Mana Denial is just on an axis we can operate on while this is on the table. We'd have to find a Prismatic Ending and a bunch of Wastelands to really be able to do anything meaningful here. That is unfortunate. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. Yep, you can chip away at her. I am going to be plussing her forever, basically. The moment I don't plus her, she dies in combat. Okay, so we do need to shuffle this away. I waited because I didn't want to give them even more mana. We got an island. Let's draw. We need a miracle here. That's not a miracle. I think we just plus here. And what we can do is we can end step this. We could make this a 12-12, but it's not going to matter because if we draw 12 cards, we're like super duper dead. If we hit them once, then we can do this later. I think that's fine. I guess the question is, do we want to play out the Delta? And I think we do. We have one more fetchable land in our deck. All the mana in the world. If they go get like a Mystic Sanctuary, they can just put the Lorien back on top. It's also worth noting that if I play this out, they can just play this out. So it's not like we're going to be able to successfully damage them in combat. If we find a way to get this in play and they don't have a removal spell by some miracle, we can attack them once, but Strix will lock down what we're trying to do. They have another one. That's fine. Okay, they're letting their mana burn off. No attacks. Tamiyo holding back the 1/1 army, literally and figuratively. There's no reason to attack here. Okay, I think they're realizing that. No? What are they doing? Why? They have another Bowmaster? They're trying to eat up our clock? I mean, we are like 3 minutes behind them. 4 minutes behind them. Okay. I'm going to play out the in-step Borrower. I don't have the luxury of having infinite mana like they do. They're doing this in block step for Kaito. That's unfortunate. Okay, that makes sense now, why they decided to do that. I didn't think about Kaito being in a Beanstalk deck because, frankly, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I've definitely considered playing Kaito in a Beanstalk deck, but I don't think it's correct. All right, and I'm just going to kill Kaito here. Not kill it, but knock it down quite a bit. Because this Borrower is definitely going to attack Kaito. And then they'll be able to... They'll be able to do stuff to block subsequent attacks. If I can just find a plow, I can plow, snap plow, and like get rid of both of these. Not snap, but like Tamiyo plow. Please give me a plow. I've got 4 in my deck. Stifle doesn't really do anything. Can Stifle do anything to help us here? I mean, we could just put the Merc or the Dreadnought on the table. I think that's probably actually the game plan here. I'm going to start by attacking Kaito. We don't have a force or anything in our yard. Like literally everything in our yard is like stuff that sorry, I'm trying to articulate myself. Everything in our graveyard is stuff that does not help us with our game plan. I'm going to plus here. I'm going to drop a Curie. I'm going to drop a Dreadnought and see if they react. And if they do react by trying to kill Curie, like preemptively, then I'll just Stifle. They may force this because they don't want to feed the Curie. I do think it's correct to go ahead and just have the extra body rather than to feed Curie here. I can feed Curie later if she's still around. Now, if they want, they can stop this. It looks like they're doing something here. If they want to burn a daze on this, that's fine. Okay, they just let it happen. All right. So we can block Kaito now. Kaito could no, Kaito can't minus anymore. They have more than enough mana to drop both of these borrowers and to also drop their Strix. The main thing I want to stop is Strix. That's fine. My opponent said, by the way, loving your content. Thanks. Yeah, Kaito is a great card, but my opinion is that Beanstalk just doesn't have enough creatures to support him. I think you really do want at least 14 creatures. Ideally 14, but probably at least 12. Engineered explosives for 1. Well, that's quite strong against us. They're just going to blow it now. They should blow it now because I can have the ability to eat with Curie if they wait. Yeah, there we go. We lost a lot of investment, and I think with it probably our hopes of winning this game. Now they can't both Strix and Borrower, so it's possible that we can somehow clear one of those and get a lethal hit on Kaito, but we're still stuck in this holding pattern where we're waiting to clear both of these Bowmasters before we can start cracking clues or really doing much of anything. Yeah, that resolves. Sadly. I will be plowing that to get a shot at Kaito if I can eventually find one of my 4 plows. They find a land, which is basically a dead draw, but it does represent them being able to hardcast a borrower if they want to do that, and I will daze that just because I've got nothing better to do. Okay, so this is attacking for 2, so I can just block. If they have a Bowmasters, that is unfortunate, but c'est la vie. I don't want them to be able to do tricks with Kaito, like the 0 trick. I want them to have to plus him. If they have a Bowmasters, that does kill Curie, though. I feel like if they had a Bowmasters, they probably would have played it by now and just pinged my borrower. But it's possible they were sandbagging that land and they did have a Bowmasters in hand. Okay, Kaito is surveilling. I lost 0 life this turn, I believe. So they don't get to draw, but they do get to surveil. All right. It really comes down to whether we find a plow here. If we don't find a plow, I think the game has slipped away completely. And the plow really just clears this so that we still have to deal with these Bowmasters. Feeling like super duper unfavored. On a positive note, they did blow up their carpet there with the explosives. My goodness. This land doesn't fetch anything in our deck. Brutal. Okay, so I think what we do is we just attack all Kaito. And then hopefully one of these gets through and kills Kaito. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. They could triple block. Yep, I'm doing it. I have to get through. I'll just daze one of the borrowers. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, like we didn't really have a choice there. It was pretty forced. And now Kaito can just run away with the game, I believe. I'm not crazy enough to crack. Yeah, they're just going to be able to surveil and stuff. Okay, we'll play this out. I'm not going to scoop. Like we're probably like 1% to win this maybe. If we could just run or plow, we might be able to claw back in. They're probably going to end this or cut it or something. Yeah, I'm going to concede. I'll wish them good games. And like they played really well. I didn't see any problems with their play. I think this is a rough matchup, and Carpet is an absolute beast, and that's why I brought in the Prismatic Ending. We didn't see a single Prismatic Ending. We didn't see a single plow. I don't think it's a favorable matchup, but I don't think it's terrible. It's probably like a 45-55 or something. We just didn't get the cards we needed to win. See you in round 2. All right, my opponent wished us luck and said, "Are you using this for content?" Yes, always. This hand is a no keep. So our opponent is likely on breakfast. I just don't keep hands without colored mana sources on principle, unless I'm like up against like oops. Like that is the only solid deck where I would consider keeping. This is fine. They're on breakfast, so we don't need to worry about waste. I mean, this may sound crazy, but I actually think we just send back the Tundra here. And then what we can do is we can hold up day. Yeah, because we're going to be able to get a second land, assuming they're on. Yeah, I don't think it's too dangerous is what I'm saying. All these other cards are great. Like Murktide is a card for force. Murktide does end the game. That is one of the things you do need to worry about against Breakfast, assuming they're on Breakfast, is that like eventually they do get to a point where they are potentially top decking one of their they usually have six nomad type effects. Yeah, Breakfast start very much so. And then they have something like Narcomoeba. So Breakfast confirmed. They get a free Narcomoeba. Pretty cool trick. Not that it really matters to us, but it is a chump blocker for Merc. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just surveil here. Archive. Looking for Wasteland. Or really any land would be fine. Wasteland is great. That's precisely what I wanted. So we're just going to waste them and hope that that disrupts them while we chill. Actually, if we waste, we can ponder as well. I think that's fine. Just be mana efficient. So we're filling up our graveyard for Merc is what we're doing here. These cards are fine. I don't mind Curie because she is a draw engine and we'll have a second land. Dress Down actually is pretty good against them because it can stop the combo. Can't like forever stop the combo. It can stop the very end of the combo, the Oracle. It can kill. Yeah, like all these cards are good. I'd rather pitch a Curie. Well, at this point, I'd probably rather pitch a Murktide if we got to do a force fight. So I think I'll take the... I am going to need to draw the Dress Down or the Tundra next turn. So I'll do like this. Yeah. Okay. My kids just got home from school and they're like very excited about holding our cat. Okay, close the door, please, kids. All right, they did have a second land, but it's not a blue land, and that's important because blue is their main color in their deck, and they do need it to cantrip and do card selection and stuff. And if they're mana screwed, then this represents them not being able to necessarily find an answer. Okay, so gosh, if they just untap, play a wizard, we're screwed. I hate to do this, but I think I do need to do this. It sucks. It sets us back tempo-wise. But this card, like, I've been burned too many times. Too many times. And if they daze back, well, they can't daze back. If they force here, I'll force. Yep. You're forcing, I'm forcing. Okay, yeah. Murktide can end it pretty quickly. I mean, we're going to be up to Murktide card volume. They do have plows in their deck. Yeah, I'm going to force pitch Curie. Which seems more powerful? A 5/5 flare or a 1/3 that can be blocked by up to 2 creatures. If they force back again, I'll be seriously nervous. I suspect that they may have caverns. All right, we stopped that. We're up to Murktide mana. I am going to play this even though, well, I guess I don't really need the... I'd rather dig into another force than a Dress Down. Dress Down is kind of reactive. We've got 2 other Dress Downs in our deck. If they have the cavern, I'll be so vindicated. Oh, they don't have a land. Well, they may have a land. The general heuristic is you play a land before you attack. And like I'd say 90% of players do that. But there can be circumstances where they don't. If you hear my kids playing piano in the background, that is totally normal. That is their natural state. Do I want to wait? If I wait, they could very well have a plow. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to chill, and then I can end step Brainstorm, and then next turn I can potentially Merc with a Daze or a Force to protect. I wouldn't mind putting back this Tundra. That Wasteland was really good. It's definitely bought us some time. All right, so let's go ahead and Brainstorm here. Double Plow. Plow is a good card in the matchup. I mean, Daze is what we were kind of looking for, so we could safely deploy Merc. I think I'm going to put this away. Put away 1 plow, and I'll keep the plow. Then I'm just going to go get another Tundra here. You might be thinking, well, isn't it kind of reckless to do this? But we're hoping to close the game before it really matters. Okay, let's draw. Okay, my kid was just asking me where the laser pointer is. Okay, so I think bringing this in as a 7/7 is totally fine. I don't want to wait. I feel like we should capitalize on the current situation. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will keep the Wasteland in there just in case they get jumpy that think we have some sort of land recursion, but we don't. If they have a second force, we just have to eat it as a 2-for-1. If they're planning to plow, though, then we do have days up. So technically, this is going to be like a 4-turn clock because they have a blocker that we have to get through. I don't think we're in the situation where we would plow to get rid of it. If they had like a Lotus Petal, they could potentially win this turn. Like, you can't play around them having things like Lotus Petal, though. Now we are vulnerable to plow. Let's see if we can draw here. Ponder. I'm going to ponder first. These cards are fine. Dress Down doesn't answer the constructs if they ever get to that, but that's not what I'm worried about. I think I really want to find a force. Or another wasteland. Okay, we got a force. We got exactly what we've been asking for things, and our deck has been giving them. Our deck's trying to, reconcile with us after completely, leaving us high and dry previous round. Coming in for 7. Nice little happy hug. We've got a grip full of interaction. Next turn we can ponder again. Although ponder is a nice pitch to force. This is a nomad. Oh, yeah. We've got a plow. We're going to let it through. Step upside and let the man go through. The no man go through. All right. Let's see, we draw. Blue card. Oh, this is not really useful. I mean, it doesn't really accelerate our plan at all. I'm going to attack first and see what they do. They're not blocking. Okay. They may have nomad. They may have what's it called in hand? I'm genuinely worried because with nomad, if they have caverns, then we just are like super duper screwed. I am going to go ahead and am I going to ponder here? I feel like if I can find a wasteland, that's really good because we can cut them off the white and then their only other mana source will disappear. I want to shuffle. Come on, give me that wasteland. Give me that wasteland. Oh, brutal. Sure, you can have a Shuko. Okay, they did have the thing. So we do kind of have to stop them here. I am going to daze here because I think this is the last turn that really matters. They don't have any mana. They use the pedal. We still have plow. What I don't want is to float white and then them go to a different phase and do something. Oh no, we tapped off of force there. That was scary. I didn't think about that. But we do have plow, which is, they're not going to be able to daze. I think we got this one. All right. That felt good. This deck feels amazing. I love the Murktide. Like, Murktide was so clutch, and like, it's been really good so far. I know a lot of people are like the eyeball monster, Oculus aberration. I do think it's good, but Murktide is trusty, and that's the theme of this league. Trusty old Murktide, ready to disrupt your opponents. Okay, so prismatic endings come in. Harbinger is actually really good in this matchup because it kills Urza Saga, and they just don't. They play so many colors that they can't really respect a lot of what you're trying to do. Cage is a trap. Don't bring in Cage. It does simplify things, but it can also just sit there and do absolutely nothing. And I got that on word from the guy who did 4th place at Eternal Weekend with Breakfast, by the way. That's not just my opinion. His opinion is you shouldn't bring in Cage against Breakfast. Cage is an exceptional card, but not necessary here. Cards that are coming out, I think we take out some Dazes, however it's pronounced, plural. Spell Pierce is actually pretty bad here because they're a creature combo deck. Prismatic Ending is nice because it can end both the Nomad and the Shuko. It's not exceptional. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think we run it like this. I'm not going down on the combo because we may be able to kill them. Actually, I do think it's correct to go down on the combo. I think I'm going to cut one of these and I am going to bring it back into Daze. Daze is really important if they just have like a nut draw and you have to defend against it. Yeah. The combo, by the way, like, I don't want you to think like I'm anti-Dreadnought or anything like that. Why would I be playing Dreadnought? But like a lot of people, I think, get annoyed when I cut like the namesake of the deck. Dreadnought is really good against aggro decks. It's really good against decks like Doomsday and stuff, like decks that play not very much removal and hope to like beat you. This deck does have a lot of removal. It's got 4 plows. It probably has something like 2 to 3 prismatic endings. Dreadnought is not exceptional here. There's a mulligan. Our opponent has mulliganed as well. This is a keep. And again, like we can keep on the strength of them not using. I'm going to pitch one of these Tamios. Yeah. And we can keep on the strength of them not having mana disruption in their deck. They're too focused on trying to combo to try to play control. And so you might say that they're kind of control in the sense they have forces and they have plows and stuff like that. But the plows are there to buy them a little bit of time. But I would not consider Breakfast to be a control deck. Okay, our opponent is archiving here. Keeping what they saw on top. Surveil lands were a huge gift to Breakfast. Well, I think we just get on the board is my instinct here. No, I think I'm going to waste. I'm not worried about their other lands. I'm not worried about Urza Saga. I'm worried about their mana producing lands. Urza Saga is not like, they're not an Urza Saga deck. If we were up against an Ancient Tomb Urza Saga deck, then I would save my wastelands for that. But okay, please don't crack it and give us a window to Stifle. That would be fantastic. Oh, we didn't get a Stifle. Okay. I think we just chill and we surveil because I do want to find a land. And this way we have Daze Proof Force, which is important if they just try to, because we did see a Lotus Petal. Okay. So I am going to surveil here. The song my son is playing is actually an original composition. He is only 7 years old and he's already composing songs. So pretty good feels. All right, and now I'm gonna keep talking so you can kind of hear it in the background a little bit without it being all choppy. I'm gonna drop the Scalding Tarn, and I am going to go ahead and play a Tamio with the ability to deploy a Brainstorm, which will flip the Tamio in the event that we need to protect Tamio from some sort of interaction. All right, they are fetching other Surveil land. You always want to get those out of your deck immediately. I think I mentioned this on a video the other day, but oh yeah, see? This is what I'm talking about. Now, this is a trap in the sense that we no longer have Daze protection, but I think it's worth it to protect her. We could get just destroyed here, and we just have to acknowledge that that's a possibility. And when I say destroyed here, I mean, like, they're like, okay, I didn't even really care about her. I just wanted to tap you out. Well, I will tell you this. It is not worth 2-for-1ing myself and dropping my only source of defense. So we just 2-for-2'd there. That's fine. Our shields are down. We're 1 spell or land away from murking. They're able to surveil again. I mean, they're playing really tight. I definitely vibe with them just like looking for stuff. They didn't have a land drop there. They may have had a land drop. They kept what was on top here. They're Orms chanting us perhaps. Fine. By all means, burn your chant. I love it when opponents do that to me. Land. Glorious land. All right, so we're just, next turn, Murk's coming, and it's going to have a force to protect him. It's not going to be a big Murk. It's going to be a 4 on the Richter scale, which since that's a logarithmic scale, I believe, that it's very small. Yeah, we'll just draw. I'm not going to, I guess I could have brainstormed there and put stuff away, but what am I going to put away? All this stuff's great. I kind of want to go with Curie. If they kill Curie, it's okay. I mean, they only have 3 cards in hand, but they only need 1 card to win, really? 2 cards to win? Okay. They don't have either the A or the B out. That doesn't mean they couldn't just be holding them. If you watch the finals of Eternal Weekend Europe, it's a masterclass. Larson, frequent opponent on the Be Excellent channel. He won the entire thing, the entire tournament of like 900 plus people. And he won it by just holding the nuts. Basically, he had all of his cards that he needed to win in hand, and he just didn't cast them out. And he waited until there was a window when his control player opponent, who was extremely favored in the matchup, had like basically overextended and let his guard down. It was like a masterclass in just being patient and seeing the line and sticking to it. So our opponent, Magic Ads, who's no slouch. I played against them. They've trophied with Breakfast a few times. They may be doing something similar. Just building up their mana, completely invalidating our soft mission, which is really just 2 dazes. Another Orm's Chant with kicker. I mean, I'm totally fine with that. Like, I don't agree with that play. I'm just going to draw and just stock up on cards. They denied us a draw technically, so it's kind of a 1-for-1. But I think you can use this offensively instead of defensively. It's a really good card in the matchup. So much mana. Hardcast Force Up. Put that Nadu on the stack. Oh, man. It's got to be the Merc. I need Borrower as an emergency escape, pressure escape valve. That worked. Feels good. They're down to 1 card. I think we're doing all right here. I'm going to hold the ending. I don't really want the ending. I want to see if I can find... I mean, they're so low. I want to see if I can find a... the Dreadnought. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Now, a Daze is not perfect form of protection, but it is a form of protection. I think Borrower does save us from a lot of crazy stuff that could happen. Tomio is kind of win more at this point. Yeah, we're gonna do this. I am kind of worried that like a single Daze, if they have it, could blow us out, and that would make sense for them to be holding Daze at this point. There's no reason for me to fetch anything but Tundras here. They don't have Wastelands. Even if I draw my... Oh, there we go. Now I don't have to worry about Daze anymore. I'm just going to do this, and we're going to see if we can draw 12 cards, shall we? And if they have the interaction spell, that is a tragedy. Please let me draw 12 cards. Ho, ho, ho! Hey, hey, hey. All right. Man, these are all so good. We're going to go to end step. I don't think it's worth tapping off of anything. We didn't get a Force, which is frustrating because that's the card we need the most of all. We did get a Stifle, which might be helpful. So yeah, I'm just going to go to end step and we're going to pitch a bunch of stuff. So we have Plow. We do have a 4th white source in the deck. So I'm going to pitch basically all these lands, I think. I think we might even pitch that. Let's see. I'm going to pitch some of these. We're going to draw 12 cards next turn. I don't need Tomio ever. Is that enough cards? We need to pitch one more. I want to keep Stifle up. I don't think Stifle's particularly strong here. I mean, with double Plow up, you could argue that we don't really need this Borrower. It does come in and win the game if they figure out a way to get rid of this. Yeah, because it's 2 swings from death. Maybe I just put this in. Yeah, because they're going to die before Urza Saga becomes a going concern. I hope I'm using that phrase correctly. Illusionist. You have 1 card in your hand. Yeah. All right, let's Plow this and win the game. That was close because, I mean, they would have basically won there. I mean, we'd had lots of interaction. I will say that this is an extremely favorable matchup. I think This has got to be one of the worst matchups for Breakfast because we just have tons of interaction. The Stifles, the Wastelands, got creatures that can draw 12 cards. Let's go ahead and Plow here. They have no cards in hand, and that is going to be the ball game, folks. I don't believe there's anything that can happen here. They're going to take trample damage next turn. Yep, my opponent gave me the GGs in chat. Let's go to round 3. We are 1-1. Round 3, we're up against Doomsday with the double Stifle hand. I can get behind this. We don't have Force if they explode out of the gates. We do have the combo, which, I think a single connection with Dreadnought is probably extremely difficult for them to deal with because they do use their life total as a resource more so than most decks. The Nightmare matchup, of course, would be Delver. Okay, so hear me out. We play this. We can Stifle something they do. Then we can Wasteland. They kept their top card. It might be a land. I think I'm going to waste. I think it's just... There is obviously cheese potential here, but if they just have Dark Ritual Doomsday and they had the nuts and they were just hoping we didn't have a waste, then we would have just lost there. Okay, they do have it. Don't fetch. No, you got to wait. You got to give me a chance to Stifle. Okay, they got the island. They got the fear. Personal tutoring. The end is here. All right, so let's talk about what we can do. Obviously, we can Stifle the actual Oracle trigger. Assuming they don't have Doomsday in their hand or in their pile. Daze is a great draw. Yeah, I'm just going to chill, and we're going to hope to... I mean, they must have a black source. They put Doomsday on top. If they have a fetch, we stifle, and they can't use it. Oh, they had the black. They don't have the dark writ. That's good for us. I am going to get the Surveil. Surveil says... Wasteland? No, we don't want Wasteland at this point. I think we just want to force. That'd probably be the best draw. I'm not going to deploy this Phyrexian Dreadnought because they play Daze, and I don't want to get 2-for-1. I'll just be patient. I think our opponent may have stepped away because there's no reason to tank this long on letting me Surveil. So I will just wish you a fantastic day. I hope your day is going great. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I like to envision the chill, excellent friends. That is a Bill and Ted reference. My excellent friends who are watching this probably like hanging out at like a Subway or maybe a better Subway sandwich shop, just kind of like chowing down or maybe eating just eating a good meal and relaxing. Okay. Adorno is back. They disconnected briefly. Yeah, and I hope whatever you're eating tastes fantastic. If you're eating, I hope if you're at the gym and you're just like getting in like a little bit of a rest in between sets, which go to the gym, people. It's like so worth it. If you don't have the funds for a gym, this is great because we can, this is yet another thing that can interact favorably. I'm going to keep that. The dress down, by the way. So one of my friends listens to the Be Excellent channel while they're driving to work and stuff. And please don't watch it, listen to it if you're driving. But that's one of the reasons, like whenever they told me that, I was like, okay, well, I definitely need to like announce all the cards and stuff. So, and I've also noticed that, the big YouTube creators are very good about this, but one person who's exceptional at this, and I think it's because he's a baseball fan, is the Epic Storm gentleman, Bryant Cook. Yeah, I'm just going to chill. And I hope you don't mind the banter. This is fine. So they have Street Wraith away some of their life. All right, and they're just passing. Do we want to get rid of this Dreadnought? No, I think we just end step dress down, and then we Dreadnought, and then we put the clock on them. Street Wraithing again. The days this end step dress down, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. If they play a fetch land, I will hold up. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, grab my Tundra. My favorite of the dual lands. The blue-white that really isn't that playable these days outside of Stiflenought. Don't daze me. They are dazing me. All right, that's fine. Again, it's a 1-for-1. They did set themselves back a land drop there. So, Murktide, not quite ready. I think I'm going to brainstorm to try to find a land. That would be great. We have 9 fetches in the deck. We did not hit one, but we did hit a second dress down. I think this goes back. I don't want Plow ever. Dreadnought can go back. None of this stuff really matters that much. We'll draw through it. We're just going to keep chilling. Stifle any fetch they put on the stack for sure. They just play at the island and pass. It's okay. Like my opponent said, "Oh, you are up to no good." You know me. Little old Be Excellent. Innocent me. Okay, so yeah, we'll just draw. I mean, I could just wait till the end step and go for another dress down. That would involve discarding a card, unfortunately. I think I'm just going to... Man, I'm kind of tempted to just go for the Murktide because I don't want to discard. Maybe I just go for Curie here. I mean, we're totally defenseless if they just... Like, we have literal days as our protection. But I feel like they're looking for a Dark Writ. I don't want to discard. This is the control player. I just like value too much. This could be the death of us, by the way, because I'm going down off Stifle. But if we get another turn, this is going to be very good. Like, this is basically the best card we could have on the table because it's better than Murktide because we're going to outdraw them. Okay, Cavern. Do they have this? Like, they could Dark Ritual, Doomsday, draw a whole bunch of cards. Okay, they're not doing it. Thank goodness. All right, so the good news about Doomsday is they rarely play removal. I'm going to go ahead and attack and see if I can get in there. I will go to discard this turn. I'll just discard the Plow. and maybe one other card. But I really want to get a land. Come on. Did we know we were going to draw that? I don't think we did. I think I just discard a Plow and a Dreadnought. I do want to keep Stifle up. Because now that this is out, like, yeah, Stifle is very important to helping us survive. And we could have just played a Stifle, a Dreadnought, and put him on a 1-turn clock. But I call me paranoid, but like they could just have the win and Stifle could save us. Dark Rit, okay. So this looks like they're going to go for the win here. It depends on whether it's a 1-turn win or not. Because if we find a land, we could just exile, boom, hit them for 12 and win. Because they're going to be at 7. We'll see what they do. I've got a little mnemonic that we can go through, and it'll be so much fun inventorying their deck. Just like working in at the grocery store at the end of the year when you have to go around and do the inventory with the little thing you put on your holster and you're like using the 10 key and punching in all the okay, they are putting a Street Wraith in there. They're putting 2 Street Wraith. They're going to go for it this turn. So these Stifles will be critical. They may have force, but can they force both? I do think it's safer to go for Stifle than it is to go for Dress Down. If by some miracle they opt to give us a turn, then we can end step Dress Down, and then they'll be forced to interact with that, and hopefully that'll burn their interaction. Okay, let's look at their pile. Okay, so B, C, D, Buffalo Chicken Dip, FOP. FOP is a well-dressed, like overly dressed man. Okay, so B for Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. They have a Brainstorm in hand. I didn't miss one, did I? No, I did. This one. Okay. 2. Like it sucks that MTGO doesn't let you sort this. B and C cyclers. So, and I also look for Cavern while I'm looking for the cyclers. They have all their cyclers in their deck. I don't see a single Street Wraith or anything. Am I wrong? I don't see the Edge of Autumn. I know you're like probably helplessly screaming at the screen, but I can't hear you in the back. Okay, there's a Street Wraith. Okay, so I think they have their Edge of Autumn and they probably have a Street Wraith, and they probably just didn't do both out of respect for the fact that I could just kill them. If we Dress Down here, we actually don't get a card off of, but we can put in a 1-mana Phyrexian Dreadnought, but I don't think we want to do that. Because really we just want land and we want to Stifle. Okay, so D. Let's stay on focus, be excellent. So Daze. So they likely have a Daze in hand. They did use 1. Then F. So let's count their forces. 1, 2. Okay, they likely have 2 forces in hand. And then Ponder. Let's check real quick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the way I see it is 2 force, 1 Daze, 1 Ponder, and then probably like 3 cyclers. The Caverns is already on the table, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that is my assessment. So we're gonna have to get through a lot. Okay, so we really just need a land. And again, like if we Dress Down, we get the land, but then we lose the Dress Down, which, yeah, I think our plan is to just, are they going to go for it now or are they going to pass? Okay, they're passing. And this doesn't find out exactly what the cards are, but you don't really have time. Like it's good practice in a tournament. Okay, so I think I want to attack first and then I want to Brainstorm. There's no way we're going to kill them in time. We can just ignore all these threats. We're going to run their deck out of cards. That's what we're going to do. Sometimes they have 2 oracles. We are actually equipped to deal with 2 oracles. Okay, I'm going to Ponder because I do want to find land just in case there's another turn. If I don't find land, if I find a wasteland, I can just waste that. Okay, I found land. So it's a moot point. We're going to just take this delta here so we can shuffle because I don't need a 3rd land. Okay, and then I think we just pass and we discard the Dreadnought. It's just, I mean, drawing 12 cards would be amazing and just killing them next turn. Maybe we preserve that and we just pitch the Murktide here. I think it's fine. We're never going to be comfortable tapping out for Murktide. Borrower could play a role if they get greedy and like go for like a, but I mean, we're going to spend all our mana on Dazes. They could have Thoughtseizes. Okay, there's the Edge. Floating 1 black. That's fine. They've seen a dress down and they could be prepared to fight a dress down, but I don't know if they'll be prepared to fight against double Stifle and Daze. 2 cards in the deck. It's worth noting that before we play anything, we should fetch because we do need to be able to... we don't want them to be able to Daze with the fetch on the stack. This is climactic. These are the sparks flying here. And here I said 3 cyclers. I think they likely just... Oh, they do have 3 cyclers. Okay, never mind. I was about to say, like, it's unlikely they play both edges, but they do. Okay, so if we daze this Thoughtseize, I think this is fine. We daze the Thoughtseize, and then they don't have the mana necessarily. I'll go ahead and daze this back. It doesn't matter. Do you want to pay for Thoughtseize? They do have another turn after this. They could have Lotus Petals in hand. I didn't see Lotus Petals in exile. Okay, I think this is fine. I'm going to let them take one of the Stifles. They can't take all this stuff. What do they pitch? If they pitch Daze... Oh, no. They pitch Force. Okay, they did have the 2 forces. So I think they're out of forces. They're out of cyclers, but I do think they probably still have the Ponder. All right, what are you going to take? They're at 3 life. They've got 1 card in hand. Their life total doesn't matter. It's just a question of, like, can they stop all these? They said, yeah, big smile. So I think we succeeded in disrupting them sufficiently. And this was just patient play. They did take one of the Stifles. Yeah, we got it. That felt great. Okay, so post board, you can bring in Consign. I think we take out the Plouse. Like, Doomsday of 2025, post-ban, like they're not playing... I think Hull Breacher could be really nasty, actually. I think I might take out my Mercs and bring in Hull Breacher. I think I'm going to take these out. Yeah, I don't think we want to try to win with this. I think we want to be deviously patient. So what I was going to say, yeah, we can bring these in. These are good. Yeah, I'm like whispering. I don't want my opponent to hear my strategy. Okay, so now we have more room. I think we could bring back in Murktide just as a closer. I think it's a more reliable closer than Dreadnought. Again, part of playing Dreadnought is having the discipline to know when Dreadnought's not good. Plow. So sometimes they bring in their own Murktides or Baragoyf, heaven forbid. So it's not terrible to have these in here. Curie's pretty bad without a Dreadnought to pitch. Maybe we do keep a Dreadnought. I don't know. It's not blue is the problem. I mean, like, it does often come up where you're like, oh no, this Dreadnought is the last card in my hand, and I would have like 3 forces, but I don't have a force because of Dreadnought, you know? So it does come up. Harbinger could color screw them. Harbinger shuts off the thing. I think Harbinger is okay. Now I do think we're maybe going overboard. Curie does draw a card. It's an Orphidian. It's not the worst. I think we cut a land. I'm just going to cut a island here. So we still have plenty of ways to fill up our graveyard and stuff. Not that we need to, because we put Murktide back in. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to go with this configuration. I feel like this is a responsible spread of control cards. All right, this is what we call a snap keep, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have an answer to like just a crazy fast one. We do have 5 forces in our deck. Street Wraith. Very common for them to just do that like immediately so they can see what's in their hand before they start doing stuff. Okay, this is fine. They're going to see a lot of interaction. And it's all like 1-for-1 interaction. Force is like a 2-for-1. So they can potentially overpower that with this card, but they can't really do a lot around what we're doing here. Okay, I'm just going to lead with this. We had the option to surveil. We have literally 4 cards we can cast to, depending on what they want to do. I'm not going to let them fetch. I'm not going to let them do anything. I'm not going to try to hold Stifles for like the end times, the Doomsday era. I'm going to just go for it. I will be stifling one of these. Consign is terrible until the very end of the game, but it can't stop One Ring, and I did see a One Ring in their deck. Okay, and they're not taking the Stifle. Spell Pierce is a good take, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to let you get off fetching. All right, I think I just let's play this out, and we'll pass. I'm not going to ponder. I'm not going to do anything because I don't want them to be able to daze their way into a successful fetch. I'm going to squeeze them and slow them down to the extent humanly possible. There we go. That works. Okay, they kept. That means they're not going to be shuffling this turn. Okay, they're just passing. Now I can ponder because I have plenty of interaction. Daze is a great rip when we're on the resource denial plan. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. I mean, there's a risk that I want to keep more than one of these cards. I definitely want to keep more than one of these cards. Yeah, I'll just keep the daze and then we'll aspirationally draw into these other cards. So now we got double daze up, double stifle up, and consign. I mean, my deck is almost all interaction. The win cons don't matter. The win con is they, like we saw last game, they end the game for you. But we do need to put pressure on them eventually, which is what the Murkers are going to do. Okay, I would like to attempt to stifle that. And yes, we did shuffle away very good cards, but my theory is that we are going to be able to grind them low enough. Okay, they're brainstorming on top of that. That's fine. Getting another imperfect brainstorm is okay with me. I am very disciplined with Stifle. Like, I consider myself to be like a pretty decent, like B tier, A tier maybe, not an S tier necessarily, but like a pretty good Stifle player. And there's a lot to Stifle. Okay, this is probably going to get dazed, but we're going to daze right back. We are going to deny. All right. And you may think that, like, isn't this one of your powerful cards that like won the game last game? Yes, but we have a consign, and that consign only wins the game. It doesn't interact meaningfully with our opponent, really. This is kind of a bad rip, but it does get us a Surveillant. All right, we'll chill. Our opponent, I think, doesn't know that we have a second daze. They put Doomsday on the stack. That's going to be great. We can get a Surveillant in step. Okay. Yeah, this happens. You get your land this time. They had a land heavy hand. Doomsday plays like 17 lands maybe. All right. Not Doomsday today. At this point, we might start dazing this back to our hand instead of the other fetches, just so we can get more selection. I think that stays. It's passive, yes. And then we'll just be patient, and eventually we'll draw a Murktide, and they won't be able to answer it. Daze is definitely the pitch to force. If they do something that has to be stopped, this is fine. There's a 1-for-1. They're taking more of their precious life total away. It might take consign here. Because now that they know the daze, they can just play around it with enough dark rituals and stuff. They take the daze, they force us to use our 2-for-1 or our 1-for-2 interaction, the force. This is definitely like the thinking person's game right here. Like, okay, yeah. And they took the consign, which is like unstoppable victory, basically. And now they can potentially overpower us. Borrower is the threat that I'm going to bring in at the end step if they don't do anything here. And Borrower will chip away at their life and put a clock. All right. Bring out the Fairy, one of the best cards ever printed. Brazen Borrower, one of the most underrated cards, but not underplayed. Probably the most played creature in Legacy. We've got Hardcast, Force Up. Yeah, we're going to play it out. It's just like if they took out their dazes for some... Well, Daze is definitely in the deck. They're on the play. Yeah, I don't think this really matters, but we could get into a situation where there's like a stack fight, or like maybe they're playing Flusterstorm or something like that. Okay, they have their 4th land. Oh, Doomsday. I have to assume that they have something to interact here. Otherwise, I don't think they would cast this. What could they have? I'm not going to walk in. I think I've got everything covered. They could just force and we force back. But you do fight the Doomsday. You don't let them get away with Doomsday. Okay, and that's fine. Like, they're going to fetch here down to 9, and then we're going to attack them, and they're going to get farther and farther from being able to Doomsday. Dark Ritual. They know we have the daze in our hand. There's a chance that I don't know what they're going to do with this mana, but I'm going to let them. Another Dark Ritual. Okay, they're going to One Ring. They can still cast One Ring. But at least I can get a Surveil here. I think it's better to hold this and just let them One Ring. They're low in life. They won't necessarily win here. Yep, there's the One Ring. Yeah, I don't think Surveil is worth it. They are dead in like 3 turns. They're going to have to really get on it with the One Ring. Actually, if they Doomsday. All right, I am going to do this. Okay, now we get a Surveil at least. It sucks, but they have so much mana out that I don't think Daze is like as good as, you know, some card that we potentially rip like that. That's freaking insane. They have to have a They have to have another Thoughtseize type effect now. I'm gonna play this out. They know about it. That's a great card to put on top. We'll just pass. We can't attack. I mean, we can. It doesn't do any damage. All right, they lose 1 life. They're at 8. They're gonna draw 2 cards, putting themselves into the danger zone. I mean, they have to have hand disruption here if they want to win. Okay, that is additional mana. Are they passing? They're dead if they pass. No, opponent. Okay, yeah, they're in serious trouble here. I don't know how they win. They could have like a Bowmasters maybe. I don't know. Do they have some way of winning without Doomsdaying? They're dropping to like 3? I'm just going to let it happen. See what they do. Yeah, they're dead on board, basically. So they got to do something here. They are doing the YOLO, which is very much like necessary here if they don't have the win. Doomsday is like they have to instantly win off Doomsday. Here's what I think we should let them do. They're going to have to take the consign here. And then we have Doomsday to potentially rip something. I think they just said GG, so I think they realize that there's no path out. But the disciplined thing to do is just let them take the consign, and then we still have a chance of an out here. Okay, going to 1. Fetch. They're going to just kill themselves on their own terms. GG's. Adorno 666. Keep on rocking the Doomsday. See you in round 4. We're 2-1. Round 4. Favorable matchup in red Stompy. Moon Stompy, most likely. Up against Philip J. Fly. A close relative of one of my favorite actors, Michael J. Fox. And I think we keep that was, by the way, that was One Piece logic. Everybody has like the same middle initial as their father in One Piece. Okay, so I mean, like we just go get the island and then we can Dreadnought them. And then we have, assuming they give us any turns at all. Yeah, I think this is fine. Like normally I would not keep Hand Without Force against Moon Stompy, but the fact that we can get the combo is pretty cool. And they may not be on Moon Stompy, but like they were playing Moon Stompy as of a couple days ago. They 5-0'd with it. 2 5-0s in the same week. That's a really good week. All right. So let's start here. They call me B. That's what my very close friends call me. I do think it's fine to just chill and see what they do. But like I think it'd be extremely greedy not to get the island here. But we don't have to show them the basic island yet. They might go all in on like a Blood Moon because that does tank a lot of decks. Also, this withholds the information about what we're on because we could be on like... Oh no, there is a card that could totally solo us and it is Chalice of the Void. Oh, okay. This is what I was expecting. I prepared for this contingency. We'll get the island. By all means... They used a lot of resources to get that Blood Moon on the table, and they probably kept on the strength of that Blood Moon. All right, so we're going to drop a land here. We are gated to only casting 1 spell a turn, but it shouldn't matter because Phyrexian Dreadnought should just end it. Especially if we can find like some sort of permission off this. So now they saw the Tundra and they're like, well, you're probably playing what everybody else is playing, Dreadnought. All right, let's see what they put into play. I'm not really worried about anything they could put into play here other than Chalice. Okay, it's not Chalice, it doesn't look like. Maybe it's Sundering Eruption. All right, I think so destroy target land. It's going to search, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Okay, so I am going to use this as an opportunity to brainstorm since they're giving me a free shuffle. Okay, perfection. All right, we're going to just get rid of this Murktide that we'll never be able to cast. I mean, we'll never be able to cast this. I'm not going to... Well, I mean, technically I can get it out of the way. I think Murktide's fine in the pile. Yeah, I mean, they did delay us being able to do stuff for a turn. Yes, I want to use the ability. Let's go get the island. If they have another one, that is a problem. But we do have a force if they have another one. Okay. They're down to 1 card, and they have not done anything to really disrupt us. If we draw a Stifle, we can just play it now. We don't even have to wait till next turn. Spell Pierce is a great rip. It's exceptional against their deck. I would, of course, like to deploy the Dress Down. Also, I think I should have kept the Murktide just as a force pitch, because I don't think it's likely that I'm going to clear anything for this, because we can race anything they put in play, I think. We can't race Pyrogoyf into Pyrogoyf. That is a really devastating start, if that's what they have. So let's go ahead and Dress Down here. Now, okay, we ripped another Murktide. That's good. Force pitch. Okay, and now I'm just going to play this out, and I can hold up Spell Pierce. So I've got 2 points of interaction to defend this. Let's just pass. They might have a way to remove this, but do they have 2? This is the strength of this card, by the way. Oh, and this is the same card, the Sundering Eruption. They opted not to use it. They could have hit this, and I didn't have a second one. Some people do play 3, so it's not like crazy to just do what they just did. But it is... all right, let's go ahead and go to combat first. Oh, I think we just pass and discard the Plow. Keep up all the interaction. I don't want to get rid of my Spell Pierce. I don't want to tap off a Spell Pierce. I also have Brainstorm. Simian Spirit Guide. This is 4 mana play. This could be another... One Ring. Let's stop that. This should be game. Yeah, we won with a clean margin. Like, whenever you win with a Force and another blue card in your hand, I consider that being like a very squeaky clean win. Because that means that you were in a position to stop at least one thing, assuming they didn't have like something that stopped you from forcing. Like a Lavinia in play. Okay, so Hydroblast, yes. Force Negation, most definitely. Consign, I think, is better than Stifle here. You can stifle some things that they do, but it's just not as powerful as stopping a One Ring or stopping the initiative trigger on one of those creatures. This comes in for sure. Prismatic Ending. Now, actually, yeah, it's only good against Chalice specifically, unfortunately. But it is good against Chalice. Like, that is a reason to keep it. I think Tamio comes out. She's just kind of not that great. It's not like she's powering out a Kaito in this build. If you watch my channel, you know that I am totally infatuated with Kaito, and I've been playing the heck out of him. Really good card. Murktide is another way to just close the game, but it is harder to cast. I think Curie's pretty weak. They actually usually gum up the board. It is an enabler for Dreadnought, so maybe we don't cut it. I mean, Fury kills it. Lots of things kill it, though, is the thing. But we're really no, I don't know. Gosh. Well, yeah, I think we do need the Prismatic Endings. Just out of respect for Chalice, they're probably playing 4, and it just completely disrupts our ability to win the game. We can just win through Brazen Borrow, but that's iffy and shaky. I don't want to go down on Plows. Plow is very necessary. Like, they close the game through creatures. Oh, well, we could cut a couple of Dazes. I don't want to cut 3 Dazes, though. I think I cut 1 Curie. No, she can win the game. She can win the game. I don't want to cut the Merc, but I have to. I have to make a decision. All right. No, I'm going to cut 3 Dazes. I'm going to keep the Merc. Daze is really bad against their deck, but I mean, they're probably going to not expect it and probably not play around it, because why would you play Daze against their deck? So there's a little strength in just having a Daze in there in case you get the cheeky surprise Daze. This is a force hand with a Dreadnought. No way to deploy. Path to a basic. I am going to keep this. It's possible that they overload our force, but we will have an island in play. A lot of times they have Glass Cannon in hands and we're able to waste and punish those. And then they're like, you know... But I think we force basically anything they put on the stack that costs more than 3 mana. Or 3 or more mana. They mulligan to get that. I think we need to get our basic first. I just can't imagine a world in which they play that and then they play the 3-drop after you've wasted them. This might be important. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's do it. That is probably a pretty impactful target, I would hope. They may just be baiting it, but I can't imagine them baiting that on the draw, right? Or on the play. On the play, you want to be aggressive, right? Okay. They had another one. All right, so we just reset, but they did mold a 6, and their deck does have a lot of janky cards in it. Now we have a path to basic. We have double plow if we don't have to live under the specter of a blood moon. Okay, nothing. I will take it. I am not greedy. I am going to get the basic island here, and I'm also going to wait until after I've drawn because I want to maximize the likelihood that I draw a second land. And when you fetch, you technically reduce the likelihood of drawing a land. Okay, I am going to go ahead and play this out and just pass. We don't have an immediate Murktide. I want to chill and just see what they do. Borrower is a good answer to certain things that they may deploy. Okay, Simian Spirit Guide. This could be... Oh, Caves of Chaos Adventurer. All right, so hear me out. We could just answer this with a Daze. I think that's fine. So I think I fetch, I Daze. That may stop the initiative. If it doesn't stop the initiative, we could plow, but they do get a land off of that, which currently they're kind of hurting for land. Like if we can find a wasteland, we can really restrict their mana for the rest of the game. We do have other cards we can pitch to force if we need to. The other option, of course, is just brainstorm, shuffle, find something good, because we do have a shuffle coming up. If I float white, that'll tell them I have plow, and then they'll probably not fight over this. Maybe they will anyway. I think it's correct to go ahead and Daze here, and I will float the white. So if they pay, it's okay. We'll plow. They'll get a land. We'll use Brazen Borrower or Phyrexian Dreadnought to get back the initiative. They do that. Do we want them to introduce the initiative? I think it's fine. They're going to get some value off of this. I'll just use my white mana. And again, I've got Brazen Borrower coming down soon. Okay, they can go ahead and get the thing. And leave a comment with a timestamp if you're like, that's a really risky play there. I meant to let them actually search for it first, but I think they're just going to get a basic mountain here. I think they are mono red. And now we do still have Brainstorm into... Yeah, so the initiative is going. Drew a land. We're one turn away from being able to deploy the Borrower. There's nothing we could play this turn that could take back the initiative. I'm going to pass. We may have to play the Borrower and protect the Borrower. And you may be saying well, you should have just forced it. What the heck? Now you got to worry about this. They are getting value off this. We're going to get value as soon as we connect. We'll leave a basic in our deck that we can go get. And we, assuming that they can't Fury to get rid of this, because I can force to protect Fury, to stop Fury. Okay, there's the mountain. Okay, Traders dies. What are you doing? Okay, another one. I mean, it gets them closer, but is that a big deal when we do have a path to taking it back? I could just plow this one. They get a treasure. I think I'm going to let it happen. Well, the issue is that they're going to have a spooky skeleton that they can use to hit me. They're going to gain 5 life, which does mean more Dreadnought attacks. One thing I have to plow this turn. I'm going to let it resolve. Call me crazy. I'm going to fight this with plow. They haven't shut off our plows yet. We're efficiently using our plows on their threats. We're just going to hold this Brainstorm as force food. They get a treasure. Next turn, they do get the skeleton. We could bounce the skeleton out of play, but then we're really worried about the throne. We could stifle the throne, and then the initiative doesn't even really do that much. It can get more basics out of the land. It can potentially trap us. We're at 20 life, though. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm just going to... Did we see what we're drawing? We haven't yet. So we're still drawing wild. I'm just going to draw wild. Consign is great. Consign does stop the throne. It is a triggered ability. Actually, we could just Dreadnought and consign it. I think that's better. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. We're going to go get an island here. They're going to get a skeleton, but they're about to get run the heck over. If we... Okay, I think I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to go get the I'm going to go get another Tundra with the hope of being able to get a land off of... And then I can replicate this in case they do have a Pyroblast, because they do have mana up. All right, let's cast with Replicate on this trigger. One Replicate. Okay, same targets. All right, we've got a big guy. They may have Dead and Gone, but we do have Force. We could still die, for sure. But I'm going to keep the Brazen Borrower in hand. I'm going to pitch the Brainstorm to Force. So they can use this to take back the initiative, but we can borrow it out of play. Fiery Confluence. This is a Force. They could Pyro this, which would be catastrophic. If they have the Pyroblast, we just die, I think. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We just took a bunch of damage. We lost our Dreadnought. I didn't realize that was in their deck, but I guess it is a card that they can play. So what we can do next turn is we can bounce this out of play. We need an answer to the actual initiative. Okay, we found an answer to the initiative. All right, so what I'm going to do, we know they play Pyro, and we got to get rid of it. Well, actually, it's not that big a deal. We need to make sure that this gets through. I think that's the higher priority. Yeah, getting attacked for 4 is not a big deal. We can just deal with this the subsequent turn. Huh. Yeah, if we just throw in a dead 3 here, so they get the Venture. I think that the Throne is a separate trigger. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just go all out on stopping this. And you may be saying, but they're going to be able to get another cycle through the dungeon. And yes, you're correct. But we are going to be able to bounce this out of play. And then we are going to hopefully be able to attack with Brazen Borrower and eventually take it away from them. And again, like I know that I could have forced, but actually if I'd forced, they just would have added the second initiative creature. There wasn't a way to prevent them from introducing the initiative into this game. The One Ring at 30 life is probably unbeatable. They will dig to other fiery confluences and things like that. I'm not holding out hope. I think we could probably scoop, but we got 15 minutes. I'm going to play to the maybe like 3 or 4% chance of winning this game. If I shouldn't say percentages because they sound more precise than they probably actually are. So I don't have the luxury of getting this out of play. I just need to attack and take the initiative. They can get it right back, but at least we'll get a land for our trouble. All right, double pedal. That's fine. Have all the mana you want. Like if you're drawing those things, you're not drawing, Cave of Chaos Adventurer. Of course, they could have Pyroblast. They could have Fiery Confluence. They could have a lot of stuff in hand. Karn. Oh my goodness. This is potentially devastating. Let's see what they do here. We're going to learn more about the deck. I didn't know they had Karn in it. Let's see what they get. They can just lock us out next turn if they want to. If they get the, what's it called? They have plenty of mana to lock us out of the game. They do have 2 mana that they could play to cast the thing, but they wouldn't be able to plus Karn to blow up our land. Liquid Metal Coating. Cursed Mirror. Okay, so Cursed Mirror enters the reveal zone. This enters as a copy of any creature that on the battlefield, except it has haste. Okay, so it can target our borrower as well. That's bad news. So, but we don't really have a choice. We're going to play this out and hope that they don't kill it. And then we're going to try to take the initiative and get a basic island out of our deck, unless we draw it right now. Okay, so let's take the initiative. We're going to basically die next turn. Actually, we're dead on board. There's no reason to do anything further because what is going to happen? We get the initiative, but they can cast that mirror. We're going to take 4 from this. So we have to counter the mirror, which creates a hasty copy of our Brazen Borrower or of that. So yeah, we're definitely dead. Okay, let's go to game 3. I still think Daze stays out. We didn't really see a lot of windows where Daze would have been good. Hull Breacher is good against the One Ring, but that's about it. It's something that can be flashed in to win, to deal combat damage. It is brittle. It does die to Dead Gone. I kind of think we just run it back the way it is. You could argue Spell Pierce is not the greatest because it doesn't stop. Yeah, I think I'm going to swap a Spell Pierce for a Daze. And the reason I'm doing that is they do have a lot of cards. No, I think actually, so let's think about what they have. They have Fable probably. They have Karn. They have One Ring. I think we can keep a Spell Pierce in. And I think we keep the Mercs because Murktide would have been a legit draw there. I am still going to live the, the dream of Phyrexian Dreadnought mattering here. We have Hydro. We have Force. We have Path of Basics. I think we have to keep this. I think it's dangerous to go any lower. However, if they don't do anything, I will get a Surveil land and I'll get the basic with the next land. That is a perfect Hydro target. Yeah, this is like one of the big spells that like a lot of people may not realize it's super important to counter, but it is. All right. We've got our basic. We can get a Surveil next turn. Double Dreadnought. I think I am going to go ahead and just brainstorm because I want to get rid of some of this stuff. We don't need this many lands. This is phenomenal. Yeah, this is exactly what we need. It's not exactly what we need. Like I would still love to have a way to enable the Dreadnought, but these are all excellent cards. Hydro is insane here. Hopefully Hydro can hit. Yeah, perfect. We could just daze this and then see if they want to fight and then also Hydro just to get it out of their hand. It's a 1-for-1. I like the idea of this working. I realize that they could just, yep, and they have it. Okay, so unfortunately, they pay for it. I can't surveil anymore. I do still want to stop this. I am going to still I'll get the other basic island here. Now at least we know that we'll be able to cast Murktide. But this card does way too much for them. You have to stop it, in my humble opinion. And that Spirit Guide was basically locked to stop us whatever we did there. Okay, this enables. I'm going to play this for sure. This can be blown up pretty easily. Maybe we force to protect, but we need another land to Dreadnought here. So I'm not sure that we force to protect. Okay, yeah, 4 mana. What is this? Pyrogoyf. I'm going to force it. They're down to 2 cards. We're going to be drawing an extra card every turn. Touch and go. Draw a land, we just maybe win? Not necessarily, but we draw 12 cards. Land, please. Dress down is not the worst. I'm going to go ahead and attack. Dress down can stop like a pyro entry trigger. It can stop. Oh, that's a dead card. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. I'm not going to cast Dress Down chasing a land drop here. Okay. Well, they're low in life. I'm not gonna freak. I'm just gonna let it resolve. In step, we will put the Dress Down out and we will put the Dreadnought out because we're not gonna attack anyway this turn. We'll go ahead and use our mana efficiently and dig closer to our end game. Consign's not terrible. It's a turn too late. Dress Down wouldn't have given us, we wouldn't have had the mana to counter this anyway. If they have that one card, it's just absolutely devastating. What is it called? Because they can blow up 2 artifacts. I think we do this. We'll hold up Consign, but we're super duper dead to whatever it's called. The multimodal card that they used last game to blow up our Dreadnought. Okay, they're going to draw. This is an activated ability. We can't counter it. Please don't have it. Please do not have Conflux. Fiery Conflux. Fiery Confluence. Mox. I don't think we counter this. Fiery Confluence could be cast for cheaper anyway. They're at 7. What are they going to do here? Another 1 ring. I think we just consign this. They blast it. It's okay. They tapped out. This is the Pyro. We didn't have the mana to do another thing. Okay, we scooped. All right. We're 3-1 after 4 very exciting matches, and now we're going into the final match. See you there. All right, final round. After facing the demonic forces of Giorno, 666, we were up against the divine forces of P Falcon 777. This is an all-lander. This would be a free mulligan back in the day. All right, let's mull. Oh, this is not terrible. Unknown opponent. We're on the draw. Oh, my goodness. We do have a basic. We've got a ponder. I think we just put back the Merc. And this is a fairly well-rounded hand, and we just hope that they're not like, they mulliganed. Yeah, we're just going to hope they don't turn one us. A lot of people that don't play Legacy are like, hey, I heard about this deck. Oops, all spells. Okay, great. Hopefully we rip this is Nadu vibes for sure. That's a really sweet looking Windswept Teeth. I've never seen this art before. Not acknowledged it anyway. I think what we do here, Windswept Teeth is not usually a Wasteland deck land. I think I'm going to Tundra Ponder. Yeah, I definitely get the Nadu vibes. I'd like to find... I don't think these are great. I mean, that's the second land. Yeah, we can't do anything about this. It's not like we can manipulate the sequence. I think I'm just going to mulligan it or shuffle it and try to find something proactive. Land is not the worst, but I don't want to draw land days. Days and land are kind of antithetical. Like you want one or the other. You don't really want both. Okay. Backstreet's back. All right. We're going to have to fight against a likely Death and Taxes player, which is not favorable. They've got Plow. They've got Solitude. They've got lots of stuff to disrupt our Murktide. And they do have Wasteland too. But luckily we drew the land because we're so good at this game. Okay, Thoughtseize. Yeah, that's fine. Take one of my random cards. None of these are particularly high value. Also, this doesn't communicate a lot about what we're doing if they're relatively inexperienced with Legacy, which they don't have any Legacy finishes. And I don't believe I've played against them before. So they may not realize just from looking at this that we're on Stiflenought. Although like a seasoned Legacy player probably would. Because, okay, perfect. Yeah, that's great. I'm just going to chill and hope to wreck their day. They surveilled away at Plains. Let's punish them for that. They did mull. Prismatic Vista. Go for it. I'm going to get an island here. There's no real need to get, especially after them taking my Plow. I'm fine just getting islands here. This should stop them from at least doing something this turn. I'm in the market for a Wasteland now. I don't know how many lands they could have in that 4-card hand, but yeah, and we should have known. There they are. They revealed Yorion. I just didn't see it because I'm a bad player. Yeah, Yorion. So they're almost certainly on just Death and Taxes with a black splash, which I think is probably the most powerful version. Hey, Backstreet. You're going to have to find your way back. Find your way back. All right. And we have Days plus Imperfect Brainstorm. I don't want to do that. Our opponent is contemplating how they could go from a 4-land hand to having no lands on the table. All right, another Vista. Do they have the audacity to crack it? They do. And unfortunately, there's no way we can punish. They're definitely going to get a basic Plains. Okay, and they pass. So we are actually kind of running out of time to brainstorm. This can potentially counter something that they do. Stifle is great. Tony the Tiger, great. I'm going to put back one of the brainstorms. I don't really need the extra brainstorm because it's a liability when they have Spirit of the Labyrinth in the deck. I'm going to put back a Force. I may not want to draw it. Like, I don't want to go down cards if I can just fight them on the stack. That may have been greedy because they could just untap, play a basic Plains, and play a Stoneforge Mystic. I can daze that though. That's not a big deal. Okay, that's what we like to see. I'm going to Surveil. Am I going to Surveil? Yeah, I don't want that Force anymore. I've got something that is a Force, but I don't need a pitch card. All right. I feel greedy putting this in the graveyard, knowing that they have a bunch of Wastelands. I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I'll keep it. And then I can just brainstorm it away if I find a fetch. Let's go ahead and brainstorm first. We need something proactive. Looking for Stiflenought. It's not okay. This is what I said I was going to do is just shuffle this away. So it's all right. It's all chill. Let's pass. We've got Dress Down up in case they do have like a Stoneforge Mystic. And then we can save our days for something else. But ETB trigger creatures, you're usually pretty safe dressing them down. Okay, they don't have anything. I'll just upkeep, go grab my other island. I'm gonna get a Tundra because they might have White Orchid Phantom, and I want to be able to get a land when they White Orchid Phantom my. Oh my goodness, are we gonna get a creature at some point? I do want to see if I can find something proactive, like a Murktide would be good here. Okay, these are all good cards. I don't really want this, but I don't have a way to shuffle it away. I think we put the Plow back for now. Well, we could shuffle away two things. I think I'm going to shuffle away one of the dress downs. Now I'm just going to play this. And my hope is that we dress down, we Dreadnought, then they have to play into our days if they want to get rid of it. I mean, the safer thing to do is to wait a turn cycle, and then we can do it and keep them stifle to stop them off their land and ensure that days is good enough. I think that's the big brain play. And then we'll also have more mana available during our turn. There's only so much time before they draw a land, and I want to be there to stifle that land. There is the risk that they could play Solitude as well. Oh, this is just freaking insane. This is wrong. And I mean, there's no reason not to put out the Tamio here. There's like literally no reason. It's not greedy to do so. I will play this mana to do so. Yeah. All right. And if they have Solitude, I'll just stifle it. Stifle Dave's up. We are in Protect the Queens mode. We got 3 queens. Just like that 3 Kings movie. George Clooney. Commentary on the first Iraq War. All right. I mean, I'm just going to daze this. Our opponent does find a land. They could just double plow here and still be in it. Thoughtseize? Sure. Just trying to get information. I don't think they have an answer. That is valuable, though, if they do want a Solitude. Yeah, just give us more information about your deck. I mean, you're dead. I'm sorry, friend. Unless the remaining cards are 2 Solitudes and 2 white cards, even then I'm going to be able to Tamio Clue my way back into victory. Oh, they could have Massacre. No, never mind. Massacre is not going to kill these. Yeah, no, I just can't think of anything. Okay, there we go. Good. Sorry, like I realize that a lot of creators just be quiet when they don't have anything interesting to say. Maybe I should practice that. Okay, so cards that are coming in, I think Prismatic Ending is a snap card to bring in because they do have lots of like vials and stuff like that we can target. Consign is cute. It's not great. Hull Breacher doesn't do a lot. Are there any bad cards? Well, I think we got lucky there, and Daze was actually good. I don't think Daze is normally good. Certainly not on the draw. So I think we could just take these Dazes out and Bob's our uncle, to use a very cute British term, analogy expression. Spell Pierce is terrible against their deck. I think we take out a Spell Pierce, and I mean, Consign could catch them off guard. It's just so bad against their deck. Like, it really doesn't hit a lot of stuff. Stifle's so much better. I think we just bring it back in one of their dazes. Yeah. All right. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't really do a lot against their deck. It can stop, like 1 or 2 cards, but in my opinion, you really just bring in Grafdigger's Cage when it's affecting like 15 cards in their deck. So it's very normal to play a league and not have to bring in Grafdigger's Cage, and you're very grateful when that happens. So as I said earlier, this is an unfavorable matchup, I believe. So if I sound like cocky or anything like that, please note that I am doing everything I can to like check my confidence here. I think this is a good... Is it good? I don't like the lack of removal here. Force is not a great answer. I mean, Double Ponder is fine, but it could be that we struggle to find good stuff. I'm going to mulligan this. It just doesn't feel right. It feels hinky. If you've ever seen The Fugitive. This is a Phyrexian Dreadnought hand. Double Plow. I think we put back the Stifle here and we use Dress Down to get it into play, but it's probably going to die. But at least it's going to be a 1-for-1 when it does die. The Plow is the most important card in the matchup. It's just really good at disrupting them. You have to, in my opinion. Especially when you're playing from behind like we are, on the draw, mulliganing. Oh, they didn't learn from the Stifle lesson. We could have stifled them. Okay, that's not a bad draw. I'm going to reserve the right to Surveil. They don't have anything that disrupts our mana en masse. I have no idea how this is pronounced. Like in aggregate, like all of it at the same time, like Blood Moon or like Ruination or like, Harbinger of the Seas or like Magus of the Moon, or like Choke. So I think we're fine going ahead and grabbing this, just surveilling. If we can find a Stifle. Oh, it's too late for Stifle. Shadow of a Doubt. What are they doing here? Just fetching around our potential Stifle. I respect that. All right. So if they have like Wasteland into Wasteland, that's pretty bad. Hamio is terrible against their deck. I actually probably should have sideboarded that out because they have a bunch of Karakai. I want more land. Okay, that's land. So I think the simple thing to do is just hold this and we use it for a tech land. And then we hope that they don't waste us immediately and then we can make it to the end step so we can dress down. Felia is a spectacular target. If they don't do anything here, I'm just going to hold it because she doesn't have any targets. If they play Overlord of the Belmerk, then I'm going to freak the heck out and I'm going to have to plow Felia. Overlord of the Belmerk is one of my favorite cards. And I've got a video recently where I played Espervile with Felia Overlord combo and it's so strong. It's great. And what they're able to do on the pure black-white version is even more dedicated than what we do because they basically, as I've said ad nauseum on this channel, when you play a non-blue deck, you're basically just punting against non-blue decks. You're just accepting that you're going to lose to them. Because I am going to plow now when they attempt to go to the next phase by Felia. And then we're going to have to wait another turn cycle and hope they don't have yet another Wasteland. They could blink this. Okay, they don't have some blink effect. Yeah, and that's precisely what I was afraid of. Because Dress Down dies in the end step, so you have to wait till your opponent's end step before you can cast it. Otherwise, you can't use it to get Dreadnought out. So there is like a clench turn where you're just kind of hoping they don't have a Wasteland. And I couldn't avoided this with the fetch. I could have fetched an island, but it would not necessarily have been enough. Fetching an island would also have not given us access to plow this turn. This is fine. I just let this hit. I'm not going to dress this down because once Dreadnought's on the table, assuming they can't answer it, it's all that matters. Did you know you can play Metallica Nothing Else Matters? You can play that purely on the open strings. Isn't that cool? White Orchid Phantom. Actually, this is okay. This is okay. They're going to blow up our archive, I think. And this tapped. No. So we won't be able to make it to our end step. All right, I'm going to let them target. And then they're going to hit our white source here, unfortunately. And I am going to hit this Bowmaster because it is going to be more annoying than the White Orchid Phantom is going to be. But we have to get the land and it's going to be tapped. So we're going to have to wait another turn before we can dress down. So land destruction working as intended, like they're getting tempo. Yes, I'd like to get an island. And I was correct to plan around them having White Orchid Phantom in their deck. If you don't recall, a minute ago I did shout that out as a possibility. All right, we're just going to hold. Can we make it through a turn without you blowing up one of our lands? Good news is I can always waste them if they attempt to do it, but the bad news is I do need that mana, like I need a replacement mana to be able to cast my Dress Down. I think the odds of them not having a Solitude or a Plow are incredibly low, but I am willing to go all in. I have won games off Phyrexian Dreadnought when it seemed extremely unlikely that they would have an answer. Oh no. Yeah, this sucks. I could dress this down. I think I'm going to hope that they get Caldra and then I can bounce Caldra with Brazen Borrower. That's usually the go-to equipment because it ends the game faster and we are at 13 life. Caldra. Perfect. Just like I wrote it up. All right, dress down. Draw trigger. Find us a land. Okay, that's not terrible, but find us a force so we can protect. Daze doesn't really do much of anything. I think I am going to go ahead and ponder first. I want to find a land or a force. None of these do anything is the problem. I think we shuffle this. Another ponder. Okay, well, we're just going to put this out and we're going to hope that it doesn't die. Maybe they get antsy and they plow now and plow into the days. I don't know. So with the Caldra coming in next turn, we're taking 1, 2, 3 plus. So we're taking 8, but we bounce it out and we're only taking, and we can attack twice and they may hold stuff back. If they just have a plow, the game's over though. Because they're going to tempo us very quickly with White Orchid. It's a great card. I love this card. It's hard to play in 3-color decks. And unless you're playing straight blue-white, which I might play at some point. But if you're playing straight blue-white, in my humble opinion, you should just be playing Dreadnought. It's a lot better. If this is Skyclave, I will daze the heck out of it. No, you were about to Skyclave me. Come on, Skyclave me. Okay, they're passing. They're going to attack first. Okay, just 2 damage. I will take it. Please don't blow up my lands. What they're going to try to do here is they're going to try to put Cauldra in because Cauldra will exile Phyrexian Dreadnought when it blocks. What they don't know is that Brazen Borrower is going to exile the token by virtue of like removing it from play, which essentially exiles the token before combat damage. Okay, that's fine. So you've got a blocker. All right, and if they have a Flicker Wisp, that could be devastating. But I just have to live in that world where Brazen Borrower, and I don't have the luxury of going for land here. What I'm going to do, play this out. I am going to go ahead and just do this before combat. Hit the actual germ. Now this Cauldra is hanging out. It can easily be reactivated, mind you. We're going to swing for 12. I am going to waste the Caracas. And I'm going to do it now before they get the mana from it in the next turn. So we are living on a prayer. We did have a land drop that turn, which is great. It was more than I wanted, or more than I expected from our deck at this point. Not that our deck has been treating us badly or anything, but like, you know, the odds of us getting a land were not great. We can ponder for a land here. They are attacking all. This tells me they may have a way to deal with it because they're not afraid of it. Okay, so we're going to... Okay, they have another Caracas. Please Skyclave me. Wrath! Oh, sorry. That Wasteland was so clutch. That Wasteland was so clutch. We're going to win now, I think. Unless they have Solitude. They could still Solitude us. But I feel like they would probably Solitude first. Maybe they don't want to give us a 12 life because it takes longer to kill us. Yeah, there's the Solitude. All right. I'm going to keep playing. I think we've lost. We did just, you know, seriously disrupt them. But yeah, we're going to gain 12 life. They don't have like a substantial clock. They've got 1 card on the table, but they do have Yorion they can reach for in a few turns. All right. I mean, I could just plow this. This is doing a lot of damage to us. I could plow this. I could waste this. Then we could just start pondering next turn. This is not that scary. Actually, if they just naturally draw pre-war Formalware, they can put it in and get Solitude back, which would be bad. I do think that this is dealing more damage to me. We have life. We could just go ahead and Island Ponder now to set stuff up and just have a game plan. I think that's fine. I'm going to Island Ponder now. Curie, Force. I don't need these cards. Like, Curie's actively bad when they have 4 Karakai in their deck. We drew a Force anyway. I am going to go ahead and cut them off this just because like it enables shenanigans. Next turn, we can go get the... Let's see, how many Tundras do we have? We have 1, 2 more Tundras in the deck. Yeah, they got a Heath. Taking 4. We do have this to come out and deal damage, but while this White Orchid's in play, we're not going to be able to kill it. That is an argument for plowing the White Orchid as opposed to the Stoneforge. Don't have a good card. Oh, that's fine. Deal 2 damage to yourself and take one of our plows. So this is a 3 mana play. So we have to wait for a while. Okay. We don't have to wait forever though. I'm trying to think if there's something they can do at instant speed. I don't think there's anything to do at instant speed. I'm going to wait. And I'll just plow before they attack. And we will be able to race them. Because they're going to be dealing like 2 damage a turn. Getting a Surveil land. Backstreet. I wish I knew more Backstreet songs. Backstreet songs, but I only know the Backstreet's Back because it's literally in the song. Okay, I'm just going to fetch and I'm going to hope that they don't have Wasteland because that would suck if they were able to waste this. But I want to take the pressure off and also clear the way for my own Definitely don't feel like I should be in this game. But like we just got like I guess a lucky enough series of draws that we're still alive. What is their last card? Flicker Wisp. Well, that hits Caldra. That's catastrophic. Now we need the other Brazen Borrower if we want to stay alive. I mean, technically we could just plow it again, but they've got, I think we've handily lost this game. Let's see what we draw. Dress down. That would have been great last turn. Yeah, that would have been great at any point before now. So I think we're taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dropping to 2, dropping to 1, dropping to 0 if we force. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to YOLO dress down and hope to find like several things at the end step. I think that's all I can do. I don't think putting this in, I mean, this could trade with that, but it's not like exceptional. I'd rather hold this in case we figure out a way to stabilize, which I can't for the life of me imagine how we would stabilize. Yeah, I think even if we do successfully dress down here, yeah, we've taken so much damage to just have a land for one turn. Oh, okay. Yorion. Yeah, I mean, they're not. Oh, yeah. They're one turn from Yorion too now. All right, let's do this. Dress down. We need to draw 2 Dreadnoughts here. All right, let's concede. I mean, there's like a chance that they Yorion and they blink all this stuff, but we can't get rid of this. Caldra is the problem, so. Yeah, that is one cool thing you could do against Yorion is you stifle the trigger where all the stuff would come back and then nothing comes back and they just have a Yorion and they wrath their own board. That feels pretty good when you can do that. On the play, Days, still not good. Tomio is just so laughably bad. She's just like comically bad. I guess the Hull Breacher is terrible too. I think we take out a Tomio and we just bring in a Days. Like, this matchup's pretty bad. It's like a 30-70, I think. It's one of the worst matchups you can face, in my opinion, with any tempo deck. And this one is particularly vulnerable because we're basically 2-for-1ing ourselves to put this creature into play. So this hand's not terrible. They are a fetch land deck. I think if we get lucky and we stifle and then we Curie and then they don't have Karakas, maybe we do something here. I am going to keep this. Brazen Borrower is good. It's one of the better cards in the matchup just because it can get rid of Caldra and it is an attacker. I'm just going to hope that we can stifle here. They seem to be playing a lot of fetches. Please. Yes. And I am going to sadly just have to go for Island here because I could get wasted out of the game. All right. They only play like, 35 lands. So maybe that has some impact. If they just drop a Karakas, I'm going to be so sad. I won't be salty. I'll just be sad. Yeah, she is incredibly brutal. Everybody who thought that this was a replacement for Frog, I'm sorry. Frog doesn't get bounced by Karakas. Frog doesn't get killed by any artifact hate. Okay, try to plow her. Do me a solid and try to plow her here so my Days can stay alive because I know it's not going to be alive for long. Swamp. Thoughtseize. This is fine. I don't want to set myself back a mana. I think they're just going to take the ponder. They can now play around, me borrowing their germ token out of play. But again, that's a temporary reprieve. The fact that they took Days there, that's pretty aggressive. Maybe they don't have non-basic land. Okay, I'm going to start. I can see more cards if I attack first. Yeah, and there's no way that I can get Dreadnought out this turn. I'm going to attack first. I think if they had Karakas, they would have almost certainly played it, but they might have been intimidated by my Wasteland if that was their only mana source. Okay, dress down's fine. That does stop one of their things. I'm going to ponder first. I'd rather not play this out if I can shuffle it back in. Okay, Force is okay. If they have something really important. Actually, what I want to do, though, is use Force to protect Curie. But the problem with that, again, is that if they have Karakas, there's nothing I can do to stop that. So we don't want this land ever. I'll take the Force now, and I will draw the Dreadnought next turn. And I'm just going to go ahead and play this out. So we definitely have a way to dress down And I mean, we can still, even if they get rid of this, we can still dress down and get the creature. I just have to make sure that I dress down before the end step if I want a cantrip. But now I'm thinking I don't dress down because I want to draw the cards. And this is a force pitch. They might have 2 forms of interaction, which would be very scary. Okay. So, yeah, I missed the window, but I was going to say I could dress down now, and then I could dreadnought, but then I don't have the option if they plow. I think it has to be this way. Okay, so I'm going to play this. I am going to go ahead and play this out. Hopefully they only have one way to interact. We are going to attempt to eat our daily intake, U.S. Department of Health recommended intake of Dreadnought. All right, we are going to go to combat. If you will allow us, this is the big climax of the entire league here. Do we get to Dreadnought here? Please don't have 2 points of interaction. I really want to draw my 12 cards and show all my excellent friends how awesome that is. They are definitely keeping us in suspense. They're fetching. Okay, they've got a plow, but do they also have a solitude? They're waiting till the last possible minute. Oh, we got it. We got it. Oh, yeah. Feels so good. Now they're going to Bowmasters. Well, I mean, they draw 12 cards. They get a giant dude. Or army, rather. We could just bounce it out of play. I think we do need to force here. We've already got the trigger. So we're going to draw the cards even if they solitude now. All right, we get the cards. I think we won. We didn't get a force, of course. Like I haven't been getting forces off of these, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did get a force. Okay. I was freaking out. Okay, so here's what I think we pitch. We'll go to end step. We can't do anything here. I mean, I could technically do something, but I want to hold this just in case they find a solitude. I'm going to pitch a bunch of lands. We did the thing. I'm so glad we got to do the thing for my excellent friends tuning in, watching this while they're eating their Subway sandwiches. All right, let's buy Wasteland. We definitely won't need you. I don't think we need this land. I definitely don't need a fetch. I don't think I need these prismatic endings. Tomio's terrible against this deck. I will stifle that. Will I? Here's the thing. I don't think I do because I may need to stop a solitude. Okay. They went to 1 and we won. We 4-1'd. That is 3 back-to-back 4-1s with tempo decks. One with this deck. One with I don't want to spoil. If you haven't watched my other videos, check it out. I actually created a bunch of playlists and I am like doubling down on tempo. I think tempo is better than control right now. Big surprise. Like it's how it's been for years, probably. Certainly since Sowing Microspawn was printed. But like I am really big on blue-black tempo. I'm big on Rug Delverburn, and I'm big on this Merc. And I think all 3 of these decks are great, and I encourage everybody to jam them. Jam the heck out of Stifle. This card is so good. It's so fun. We had a ton of fun with Curie. She's amazing. It's amazing. I know it says it on there, but I insist on calling it her because the namesake of the amazing Madame Curie, the only person to ever win Nobel Prizes in 2 subjects, I think. Yeah, pretty awesome. Like I think both physics and chemistry. She's like a true wonderkin prodigy. And we also just had so much fun. Like Spell Pierce did come up. I love Murktide. Like I know Oculus has synergy with Phyrexian Dreadnought, but you know, your Murktide is not going to get Thoughtseize out of your hand and Reanimated. I know that didn't come up. We didn't face Reanimator, but it is the most popular deck right now, that and Eldrazi. And you know what is really easy to remove with a Kozilek's command that is, you know, that would be like an eyeball monster. You know what's harder to remove? This guy with the swimmer bod, Michael Phelps Dragon. This is a lot harder to deal with than for Eldrazi than the eyeball monster thing, Oculus, Abhorrent Oculus. They have to make these cards so difficult to pronounce. Abhorrent Oculus. Say that fast 3 times. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Like, I love this deck. I think this build is really good. It felt great. Hull Breacher didn't play a part. I do think that it's worth playing. Like, if you get paired into like Jeskai or something, it's not terrible. You could play Null Drifter, but really, like, the only enablers for Null Drifter in this current build, the problem is there's so much Dreadnought going around right now. Everybody and their mom and their dog is playing Dreadnought right now. So you don't want to play Doorkeeper Throw. You don't want to play anything like that's cement. Like what is the one that like the artifact, the 2-mana artifact that prevents ETB triggers from happening. You don't want to play Hushbringer. You don't want to play any of those cards because they enable your opponent's Dreadnoughts, and nothing worse than dying to your opponent's Dreadnought that you yourself enabled. You are the instrument of your own demise, right? The consequences of your own actions coming back to haunt you. So I definitely think that this is the type. Like, for Stifle main deck, don't listen to the noise. Like, I genuinely believe that Consigned to Memory is a sideboard card. It's just so dead in so many matchups. But Stifle almost always has a target. It's not necessarily a good card in a lot of matchups, but it is a card. Like Moon Stompy, yes, you're better off Consigned to Memory, but you can still cast your Consigns or your Stifles game 1, right? So it's not bad by any means. Harbinger never really did anything, but that's okay. We didn't really face, like, it would have been good against Nadu Breakfast. We didn't need it, but like I felt like this deck just felt really amazing. I love the 9 fetch lands. Pop quiz, hot shot. Did we ever need to have a 4th Tundra? Did we ever need to have a 3rd island? I don't think so. I think, like, the game can go on really long, but because you're dazing, because you're, like, I don't think I've ever run out of land and been like, damn. Like, well, there may be some very late game situations where I've got 4 or 5 lands and I'm like, wow, I don't have any more lands to fetch. But it's like, it's not like a big deal that I didn't have more lands to fetch because this deck doesn't really use mana that much. Like, you might have to do like a hard cast Murktide. Like, can this deck hard cast Murktide if your opponent opens Leyline of the Void? Technically, it's got 6. It's got 10 mana sources. It could, in theory, hard cast a Murktide, right? That is like the Murktide test, kind of like the test from if you haven't seen the movie, it's called like Brooklyn Tale or Bronx Tale, where like the kid has to like he tests, like, unlocks the door for the girl, and then he walks around and she's supposed to reach over and unlock it, and that's how you know she actually cares. So that you don't have to like fiddle with the keys to like unlock the door yourself. Like, this is kind of like the Murktide test. Like, if your mana base can hard cast a Murktide under Leyline of the Void, I think it has enough permanent mana sources, and you can go higher on fetches arguably being the best thing you can be doing in Legacy, unless you're playing Ancient Tomb. I will save you the waxing poetic about fetches, but I think that this is like absolutely one of the most key interactions in Legacy, and I know it's in Modern too, but like, just being able to have so much destiny. Like, do I want a basic here? Do I want to surveil here? Can I afford to get a Tundra? It just introduces so much skill. When do I fetch? When is my opponent likely to stifle? When is my opponent likely to cast, Archon of the white one that like locks you out, and like, do you need to plan around that? Like, timing, sequencing, all these things. I love everything about this game. I love the sheer volume of thought and how Legacy rewards you for thinking, unless you're playing against Eldrazi. So I hope you are having so much fun learning more about Legacy. If you need to get Phyrexian Dreadnoughts, I think this card is going to soar in price. Like, they just keep printing cards that make it better and better. They printed Curie. They printed the Eyeball Monster. They printed, of course, like Dress Down a couple years ago. They printed Consign as well, like a few months ago. So like, this card just keeps getting better and better. And unfortunately, it's on a reserve list. And I am one of those reserve list abolitionists. I genuinely believe that Legacy would be way better if they could just reprint this, and maybe it still costs $100 or whatever, but it's not going to cost $1,000 3 years from now when everybody's throwing their crypto money around buying Magic the Gathering cards, right? So I genuinely think that we should be buying these cards sooner rather than later if you want to have this option. In my opinion, there are 3 really strong tempo decks, and I'll talk more about this. I might even like write an article or something. But Rug Delver, I think, is by far the most powerful version of Delver, whether you want to be a mad lad and play 4 lightning bolts or not. I think blue-black turbo tempo, not blue-black control, which I played on the channel a lot. I mean, I just don't think it's nearly as good. But I think something like this, where you're still relying on Nethergoyf, you're still relying on Tamiyo, and you're playing just a ton of disruption to stop every deck, because this deck cannot compete with Rug Delver. Rug Delver will run this over, but this is arguably much better equipped to beat like blue-black Reanimator and Eldrazi and decks like that. Well, I don't know actually. Like, I'm gonna go to an MTG like a legacy event in like an hour. It starts in like an hour, and I'm actually playing this. I know people are gonna roll their eyes like, oh really, Delver? Like, you could be playing anything. You have all the cards to play all the top decks basically that are blue, and you're playing Delver. Yeah, I'm gonna play Delver. Just like, it felt really good. I like the DRCs. I love the bolts, and we have a lot of people at my play group that play freaking 12 post and Eldrazi and stuff like that, and I just want to punish them with the price of progress. Anyway, sorry for like the rambly outro thing. I assume that like the people who've got better things to do than like listen to some 44-year-old engineer guy who loves playing Legacy and listening to his kids play piano, like, I assume that you've probably got better things to, if you have better things to do, you probably clicked off. But if you enjoy this kind of banter, even if it's some crazy guy sitting in his office talking to himself with his cat on his lap, yeah, like, I'll keep rambling. Just leave a comment if you find my rambling at the end. I'm always real self-conscious. Like, are people like frustrated that I don't just close up the video? Do they have some completionist compulsion? Like, I have to watch the video till it ends and he won't shut up and let the video in. Like, let me know if you enjoy the banter, if you really want me to just shut up and play. I will not feel offended either way. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.